Welcome, everybody, to day 2 of Expedition from the Mysterious Peaks, sponsored by Alligator Alley Entertainment. Welcome, welcome. I hope everyone is doing well. Welcome to a Saturday night stream, and I hope you folks are looking forward to the next session as we move forward with the Final Command, which is our opening adventure within this campaign. Remember that we have got both D&D and space stuff going on with this campaign, so we're going to be beginning with some standard fantasy, so to speak, and then moving on to some more space-oriented fantasy down the line, so it's going to be awesome. And I am very excited for it. But before I go any further, first of all, welcome all the folks who came in. It's good to see you all. I saw Crit Twitch and Optic Nerve and a bunch of others. Quick note about the video. Yeah, so the video, much of that video is going to be in place going forward, but there are going to be a few tweaks based upon the new music which we've received, which, as good as this music is, I think Mike did a wonderful job getting placeholder music. Matt's music, Chrono Wolf's music, is super legit. I mean, and does have some connections to this, but is also partially inspired by the Final Fantasy VII OST remake and stuff like that. It's got a lot going for it. So I am very happy with that music, and you will get a chance to see that in our next session. But tonight, you are going to get a chance to see the amazing players because the full crew is here, and we are excited to play for you. Before I go any further, a couple of quick reminders about ways to support us here in the channel. If you haven't done so already, please follow the channel. Please check out my YouTube at !ArvTube. Discord is !ArvCord. Twitter is !ArvTweets, and website is arvineleron.com. One quick note to make about the finances here. !ArvTreon is my Patreon, which, as you can see, is sitting at 21 patrons, $192 per month. That's dropped a bit, so any support that people are able to give or jumping on board to support the Patreon, remember there are unique things you can get through that Patreon that you can't get necessarily just from subbing. You can get a copy of one of my band's albums. You can get an epic character background written for you, an epic poem written for you, things like that. So there are multiple things you can do, plus channel goals that we're pushing towards on the Patreon specifically. So please consider that. You also, of course, can get inspirations to help the players. That's !ArvTreon. But the other thing you can do to support the channel, of course, is to subscribe to the channel, which many of you were kind enough to do last night. That is, again, gives you those custom sub badges and emotes to use everywhere across Twitch. And if you support at a high enough tier, you can also get an inspiration to help our players, including those in the campaign as well tonight. Speaking of helping the players tonight, a reminder, Expedition from the Mysterious Peaks is the first campaign that I'm rolling out with this feature, but those handy little things called bits, when you're able to cheer in Twitch officially, those cheer bits go directly to the players of this campaign. So we had 10,000 bits during July 30th's campaign session, and I'm rolling that into August because we were only going to be doing one session in August as well. So whatever the total number is after today, that number of bits will then be distributed to the players. I will split it at the end of August, so 1 week from now, or roughly 2 weeks, whatever it is, 10 days from now. I will take that, split it 4 ways, and that money will go directly to the players via PayPal donation from me. So any cheering folks want to do tonight is going to go directly to the players of this campaign, and assuming it works as well today as it did last time, then I'm going to start gradually rolling it out to my other campaigns as well, because I think it's a good idea, and it seems like it's got some good cachet. So if you want to support the players directly, that is one of the ways to do that, is by cheering, using the power of Twitch to do so. On the publishing side, Icarus is my graphic novel from Athos Arts. Library is Tales and Tomes from the Forbidden Library. That's my 5e adventure and source book from the sponsors of this campaign, Alligator Alley Entertainment. And speaking of them, they are doing the TTRPG portion, or they are producing, I should say, the TTRPG portion of my Greyshade Kickstarter, Greyshade. Novel for that came out May 31st. I now have a TTRPG that I'm working on with Brandon O'Brien. That is going to be coming out next year and will be with 5e consultation from Rich Lescouflair. So they will be doing that. So you can definitely support the channel by checking out Greyshade, because the backer kit allows you to get pre-orders in for the 2 sequels of the novels, Renegade and Heretic, and an audiobook from Tren, and of course the TTRPG from Alligator Alley Entertainment. So all that stuff would be great as well. Last but certainly not least, BLM, Black Lives Matter. Very important to affirm and assert the significance and importance of Black lives. Help Now. That's the World Health Organization page on suicide prevention. Very important to reach out to others when you need help and to reach out to others when they need help as well, and Exclamation Point Ukraine, Ukraine, where you can help the fine people of Ukraine as they fight back against an illegal and illegitimate and devastating war. They are fighting back bravely, and this is a way that we can help in a small way to be able to support those people as they go through that fight. Now, last point that I want to make quickly is just that there will be some stuff going on Monday in terms of Bag of Giving. Iron Sworn Starforge. This is the charity series of events done by Brandon Crilly and by Mike Underwood, and you will be seeing more of Bag of Giving stuff going forward, but that's going to be happening on Monday. And there is the potential, although it's not 100% confirmed yet, for us to be doing a GM turn in Valoword Court of Blades. However, because Court of Blades had to be rescheduled from last night, I'm not 100% sure if we're still doing the GM turn on Monday, and then if we're going to be doing our session first. So I'll find that out. I will let you folks know soon. But either way, that's going to be coming down the pike. And then we've got Adventures in Middle-earth coming your way, and then all the other cool stuff. So next weekend, as a reminder, we will have some people visiting in person, including perhaps one of the people I'm about to introduce. And we'll be having a couple of people doing this special musical event that is being held. Well, I'm on basically the porch of my house, more or less, as one of the houses in my neighborhood that's hosting this event. So I'm very excited for that, and there will be a couple of, at least one, maybe two, live streams of that event coming up this coming weekend. So that's going to be really cool. Not this weekend, but next weekend. So so that stuff is happening. Very exciting, and then we will finish off the summer and move into the fall. But first, it is time for us to get some playing done. And so I'm going to unmute myself and apologize if I've interrupted any of these lovely folks. And then I'm going to unmute them. And last but certainly not least, I'm going to head on over to reveal to you the incredible crew, fully assembled, and Avengers have fully assembled here, of Expedition from the Mysterious Peaks. It is good to see everyone. I am very excited for all of this, and with no further ado, I'm going to let them introduce themselves, and then we will get into the events of the night. And I'll begin with a gentleman who was not with us last time, but who is with us this time and was there for various world-building moments, and that is one Mr. Johnny Pittman, Video Store Cowboy. Good to see you, Johnny. How are you? How's life in the universe with you? And who are you playing today? And I will explain how you'll be brought into the mix here in a little bit. But who are you playing when that happens?
Wait, do you want me to reveal it yet, or do you want me to just acknowledge certain elements?
Okay, let's acknowledge certain elements. Let's do it that way.
Okay. I am playing Beatrice, Enoch, Hogarth, Edith, Leopold, Devlin, Edward, Rochefort the Third, an artificer.
Oh my gosh.
This is me writing down because it's the first time I've heard that full name. Beatrice, what now?
Beatrice,
yeah.
Enoch,
yeah.
Hogarth,
yeah.
Edith, Leopold,
yeah.
Devlin, Edward, Rochefort the Third.
Now, you said Roquefort the first time. Rochefort or Roquefort? Very important.
Rochefort. I'm still getting the pronunciation down here myself.
Okay. All right. Okay. Lovely. And it's an artificer. And you will see what that means in just a moment. It's
that name was Artifice.
Yes, that was. There's a lot of artifice all over that name. That's very fair to say. And how's life with you, quickly, Johnny? How's things going?
Life is getting better now that I'm in front of a camera again. I'm glad. I just literally arrived 10 minutes before we got on camera to say hello, and I'm glad to be back where I am. I'm not where I need to be yet, but I'm glad to be where I am. So that's all that matters. So.
That's good. I'm glad to have you here as well, Johnny. One quick question. Hit points. How many hit points do you have for your artificer?
Well, we are level 2, right? I mean, we did level before this encounter, right?
No.
Oh, come on.
I was about to be like, yeah, then I'm like, no, that's not, no, that didn't happen. No.
9 hit points.
9 hit points. All right. That's all right. You are equal with Fob, who totally didn't have anything bad happen to them during the last session, as we'll discuss. But always a pleasure to have Johnny with us. More details coming soon. Moving right on over, because I feel like I need to do this now so I can get in all discussion of the hat. And that is Toya. Toya Kristen Finley. Toya, it's good to see you. Of course, I saw you at Gen Con, where a fun time was had by all,
Yes.
from what I could tell. But regardless of that, I love everything about this. I am a big fan of the hat. Are you actually a Titans fan, or is this
Yeah,
just,
I am coming to you from Nash Vegas. It is the preseason. The Titans are playing as we speak, so I'm repping the boys.
very nice? I was going to pull out my Steelers. I literally have my Steelers cap right down there.
I mean, you should do it. We have an old AFC North little bout here.
That's true, actually. I will do that. When not repping Tennessee, how are you doing otherwise, Toya, and who are you playing today as I go to switch up my hat?
Pretty good. It's busy. I'm a freelance hustler, so the hustle is always a grind. I am Nulls Darkly, aka Malik. Very nice.
Very nice. There we go. I've now got the hat more or less.
we can be into sports ball and be nerds. So
exactly. There is no. It is a different kind of nerddom, but still appropriate nonetheless. Yes, and Nulls Darkly was a memorable character, and I can't wait to hear more. So that's going to be great. Steelers play. I know it's got to be Heinz Field. How can you rename your stadium a creature? What even is that? Like, it's Heinz Field. I've been there. There's a big ketchup bottle. It was great. Now there's just a creature. What even it?
As a non-Steelers fan who, once hated the Steelers because of the Titans-Steelers rivalry, that is nonsense. You can't do that.
You just can't. It's
you
just
can't
not,
do that.
No, it's terrible. It's a terrible decision, and it shows the collapse of our society. The thing that matters most about all things that are wrong in society is the fact that they named the field something wrong. Anyway, but it's a pleasure to have Toya with us, and I am very excited for more with Nulls. I am also excited to hear more from Kat Rambo, who it is good to see. Kat, I hope you are doing well also. How are things with you, and who are you playing today?
Things are lovely with me. The weather is very cool lately, and which is a nice change from the summer.
Yeah.
And I am running Fob, a lizard folk thief.
Yep, and which for 2/3 of last session, I was thinking was FOB as in the watch fob, and then realized my error. So it is actually FAWB, to be clear, chat. All right, I want to make sure we have that clear. But very exciting. I am excited to hear more from Fob. But thank you, Kat. Always a pleasure. And last but certainly not least, one Mr. Zach Clay. And Zach, are we now? I mentioned the possibility of this. Can we confirm now that you and I will be in the same physical space at the same time? Can we confirm that this is a reality?
I think we can. Yeah. I
So
think we can.
it is going to be part of this musical event. Will be not only my friend Jordan Indy Gonzalez, who's going to be coming out here, but also Zach Clay, one of the members of The Road, and I will be seeing Zach in person, in the flesh. It is real. It's happening. So you will get a chance to see this, which means that there will be some game played during that weekend, no doubt, that will be broadcast for larger consumption. So it's going to be very exciting. How are you doing, Zach, otherwise? How's life in the universe with you, and who are you playing this evening?
I'm great. I've gotten back into streaming on my own. I'm running a few campaigns myself as well, and I'm very excited to get this one going. We're only at number 2 out of probably another 70 more, so I can't wait. It's going to be great. So yeah, tonight I am playing Beauty, a human warlock, or as some people in my community and in chat have called her, the K-pop warlock. As I have mentioned before, the styling and the coloring of this character is near the antithesis of what I played last campaign, and I live for it. So I'm very excited to play tonight.
I am very excited to have you playing with us, and I think it is appropriate to head over to the map and to talk a little bit about what happened in our last session. And it's also good, by the way, to see everyone who is here today. I think I said hello to a lot of folks. I will mention that Xanos, who's one of my original mods, literally watched my first ever stream 10 years ago, surfaced last night and is back with us, which is great. I am very excited that Xanos is back with us, because it's one of those things where it's like, man, it's been a decade. It's been a good time. So it's good to have Xanos back, and it's good to have all you folks back. And let's get into it, shall we? As we move over to the map to reveal what you see in front of you. Let's talk a little bit about what happened in our last session, whilst I make sure that the music is going, sound on. There we go, lovely. Okay, in our last session, after doing a little bit of further character and world building, we began the final command by talking a little bit about the reign of Camria, the realm of Camria, and about the founding ceremony of Camria, an anniversary which is held that talks about all of the various people who were part of Camrian's creation at the beginning. This, however, is the first time in Camrian history that outsiders have been allowed to participate in and to observe these festivities. And so these 4 characters that you see before you, well, 3 of them, I should say. The 4th one is going to be discussed in just a moment. But 3 of those characters, specifically Nalik and Beauty and Fob, all made their way into this central square in preparation for this event, where they ended up finding each other. It was actually, I think, Beauty and Nalik who spoke to each other first. Nalik was sort of near one of those pillars you can see at the bottom left of your screen, sort of literally picking up on the vibe coming from the pillar, while Beauty, who was intrigued, came over and spoke to Nals. Nals then went on to say, but can you feel the vibe? And then it was a whole big vibe discussion between Beauty and Nalik, while Fob was watching from a distance and then gradually made their way closer to them, whereupon finally, and I don't remember which one was the one who finally detected Fob, but someone finally managed to find the very stealthy Fob, where they all had a chance to speak to each other and talk a little bit about what they were doing here before somebody actually came forward. Elu Winterwind, who you can see at the bottom left of that big wooden stage, essentially, came up to them. This is a member of Primarch Lanek's Royal Guard, and Elu Winterwind explained, first of all, that she had been observing them and that they stood out somewhat from much of the rest of the crowd, and that she was looking for some help trying to gather information about these strange devices. They are Magitech devices of some kind, which have been planted in the area surrounding the event. And the party quickly discovered that they were, in fact, kind of problematic, because if one was not careful and triggered one without being ready for it, they got hit as if they had had their elbow, their funny bone in their elbow hit, and would actually take damage from it. And I believe it was Fob who was most affected by that, although Beauty also got hit by this a little bit. Nalik, I think, managed to resist this several times. But and so Elu asked them to go around and basically disable these devices, because wherever the party was going, they found that people around or near the devices were acting strangely, almost shuffling around in a zombie-like trance, and sometimes just sort of standing there slack-jawed like one of the guards on the stage, staring at nothing at all until those devices were ultimately disabled. The party was able to disable most of them, and just as they had done so, a speech began from a character known as Grand Magus Illifor, who is the right hand to the Primarch and Camria's mystical advisor. This Magus gave this big speech about how Camria was the greatest of all realms, and clearly this is the best of all possible times, and blah, 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 blah. But then went on to say that the people had grown complacent, and that there were dangers, there were risks that people would, that existed that people were not taking account of, and that the time had come to remove the dissenters and traitors, and in honor of our Primarch's greatness, she said, they shall be made to answer. Whereupon a human male wearing tattered garments was brought upon the stage. The Primarch, the Grand Magus, pointed at this person, and Elu Winterwind, the one who had originally employed the characters, cried out, "Brother, no," just seconds before the Magus engulfed the figure of the wounded human male in flames. A wall of force went up around the stage. The crowd screamed and erupted into chaos. And as is occasionally, I am told, my wont, we brought the session to an end right at that moment. And that brings us to the beginning of today's session. And it's going to begin quite simply with everybody please rolling for me some initiative. Now, for those who have not been in combat in Roll20 before, let me ask you if you can click on your character on the map and then roll your initiative. It should fill in that form as Zach has just demonstrated. It should fill that in with the number right there. So if you can do that, that would be lovely. If it doesn't work, then I can add it manually. So I can do that for Toya. That's fine. Let's see. Actually,
Mine did roll.
I see it, but I
Yeah.
don't see the thing being popped into.
Yeah.
Where are you actually on the map?
I'm at the top left.
Oh, I see you. Yep, I see you.
Nice.
Okay, so let's have add turn. Okay. All right. Let's see.
Also,
Fawn.
don't see my token.
It's
but did
right.
It's at the bottom
yeah.
in the middle.
at the
Yeah.
bottom. Oh, way down there. Okay. Let's try that again then.
Yeah. See whether it works. I'm just curious. But we'll hold on to that one if it's worse. Yeah, that's fine. I'll change it to 21. That's fine.
All right.
Nice.
But that does work. That's good. Okay, so now we are simply waiting for. Let's see. Okay, so now I am simply waiting for the roll from Beatrice Enoch, Hogarth, Edith Leopold, Devlin, Edward, Roquefort III.
I don't have a character sheet.
Oh,
remember?
okay, right. So I will have.
So
to
I'm
look
just gonna
at it.
I'm gonna roll by hand, but I'm letting you know that I need those things. So.
Yes, I gotta. Okay, so yeah, remind me afterwards, I guess, because I'll have to find. I'll
Yeah,
have to
we're
find
gonna
those.
have to do it that way.
Okay. However, I can put for now.
How about a 12?
That looks promising. Thank you for the tier 2 sub, Rudnell. I appreciate that very much. I'm going to reduce this to Beatrice for the moment because I don't think Roll20 will take everything else.
Yeah, that works.
And thank you for the Prime sub, Shalo123. I love to see new people jumping on board. Reminder to everybody, by the way, cheers, remember, during our session today will go directly to the players. So make sure to get those cheers in for this session if you want that to happen. Okay, you should now have control over your character. I'll explain how that comes in a minute, but just can you confirm that you're able to move that around and such for me there, Johnny? Right.
I
now.
do. I see. Yes, I do. I do.
Lovely. All right. So we got a 12. I will come back to that. Now, quick dexterity check. Beauty, what is your raw dex score?
16.
And Beatrice, what's yours?
13.
Okay. That makes that quite easy. So let's put that there. And we will put Beauty above there. And there we go. Also, I will put on some much more suitable combat music in just a sec. Okay. So
Sounds good.
12 and 21 and 12. Okay. Okay. Also, as a quick reminder, as I am setting this up, everyone should be able to see that there are now a number of characters who look like this. And there was a crowd, you will remember, of different people there before, and many more than because I didn't want to cover the screen with 150 different kind of figures. But the entire space is filled in. But these characters right here are relatively new. First of all, thank you, Rudnell, for the cheer. That is 500 more cheer. Thank you. I will add that to the mix. Thank you. So that number that we have right there. Oh my God! All of a sudden, everyone gave in. I can't do anything because
Wow.
Xanos with the 5 tier 1 sub gifts. Thank you, Xanos.
Nice.
Thank you very much.
Very
So
nice.
Rippin'
Thank
the
you,
Goon, Stalio, Okiron, Ambrazine, and Amanda Gedden. Thank you, everybody. Welcome all to the Argonauts, and thank you for the gifts, Xanos. I appreciate that, man. Thank you. Okay, so right, so those ones that I just mentioned that I laid out there, those were not there before. The people have literally changed into these outfits. So some of the people that you saw, they are of different shapes and sizes, but they are all, I shouldn't say that actually. They are different sizes, but they all do look to be human, or at least they were, before donning these outfits that you see before you with these red and gold masks. Okay, let's get some combat music going, and then we'll find out what's happening with these folks. Okay, thank you. I don't need anything else from the combat in the Desert Bazaar. Okay, and let's go with this,
Yes.
the classic of all this. I have some other combat ones I'm going to be getting in here, but okay. And let's see. Okay, good. Right, okay, good. And an anonymous user is gifted a tier 1 sub to Optic Nerve. Wow, I literally just can't do anything. People are just keep giving stuff. Thank you to the anonymous gifter. I am a big fan. Thank you. Okay, so let us start out with two. All right, let's start out top of the round with let's see. That's going to be Fob who goes first. So, as I mentioned, there is a wall of force of some kind, Fob, that is around the stage. Right now, there is a person who is basically pretty clearly a smoking corpse at this point, right next to the Grand Magus who just shot fire at them. There are 2 cultists on the stage as well, or whatever, these people in red and gold masks, but they are again blocked off by the wall of force. There's just absolute chaos in the square. People are running left, right, and center, screaming, running away, shouted orders from different places, and it looks to you, if you can tell this, it looks as if there are these people who have put on these masks, the red and gold masks, are pushing their way through the crowd. It looks like to get to you, if you had to guess, like towards your general area. So some of them are coming your way, Fob. Some of them are going towards your companions.
Is it my turn?
It is yours. Yes. So you are up. You're up
All
first.
right. Well, I am going to move here and hide in this bush.
Okay. My first action is to hide in this bush. All right. So assuming you're stealthing away, then I'm going to, yep, I was just about to ask that. All right, a 17. Okay. So so the rest of you see Fob just zip, like, and are you, like, is it one of those, like, dive into the bush
Okay, so
deals,
here's
or-
what you see. You see Fob kind of look around, and you see Fob kind of like look at the cultists, and then kind of look at the one kind of bearing down on Fob, and then you see Fob just take 4 steps backwards and just vanish into this bush. Like that Homer Simpson meme.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, that's completely what I imagined. Okay, so Fob has vanished into the bush. Are you doing anything besides hiding in the bush, or like holding an action or anything like that?
If someone walks right next to me, I'm going to bite them. Yes.
Okay. Boy, I really hope someone walks past the bush then. That would be really exciting. Okay. So in that case, let's go to, next up would be Nalik. So Nalik, you see the combat situation before you, such as it is, and there are a lot of them now near you. Let's see, you're up there, right? So there is actually one right here that's like right next to you, for what that's worth.
Well, I'm no dummy. When I see danger, I'm going to use Blade Ward on myself.
All right. So Blade
Good
Ward is
choice.
going to be the first step. It is. Let the people know what does Blade Ward do for the people at home.
I'm gonna read it because I just learned what
That's good stuff. I like Blade
Blade
Ward.
Ward did not too long ago. Blade Ward. You extend your hand and trace a sigil of warding in the air. Until the end of your next turn, you have resistance against bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage dealt by weapon attacks.
Very nice. Very nice. Okay. So you have cast that. Yeah, sorry, there was a video freeze. I fixed it. It was a video freeze. Should be fixed now. Okay. Cool. All right. So you did that. I believe Blade Ward it should say in the description, is a regular action, not a bonus action. Should say something like as an action, I believe. The reason I ask is because that also affects whether you can do anything else before moving if you're going to move.
Where would I find that?
So if you look under actually right underneath, it's casting time is where it would say it, and it is one action. I just saw it myself. So casting time, one action, meaning that's the one action you can take this turn, but you can move if you wish.
Okay.
So would you like to move?
Let me switch back over here. You know what? I'm gonna go under that stage.
Okay.
Nice.
All right. So you can push underneath the tarp.
Oh, does the force field is blocking the stage itself, not under the stage?
Correct. Does not seem to be
Okay.
blocking underneath the stage. Although, as Nulls goes underneath, presumably, like, the force also is over the floor of the stage, so you can't just,
Sure.
like, cut up from below
Yeah.
or something like that.
That would have been smart.
Yeah. So, all right. So you have pushed underneath the stage. Quick point there. It is dark under there, Nulls. I don't know if that matters to you or not, but I'm letting you know.
I'm pretty aware of the darkness. I'm okay.
Okay. All right. That's going to lead us then to Beauty, who will be up next.
So, looking at these cultists, are they still moving towards myself and Fob?
Yes, they and actually towards. Well, they were moving towards Nulls. We'll see where they go now. But yes, they are generally moving in your direction.
Okay. And then Beauty kind of turns and looks to the ones across the square that are presumably by other people. Are those cultists also trying to come over just to us? Are they attacking people? Like, what
They
are
seem
doing?
to be sort of roughly shoving people out of the way and also moving in this direction.
Wow.
You also note, now I do want to point out that you also note that there may as well be some that look like they're heading towards Elu here on the corner of the stage as well.
Okay, I understand. I'm not sure. I believe since I crawled under the stage to deactivate one of those strange devices, I think that I'm the one that has the deactivator thing that Alu gave us, right? I would say so.
You were I believe you were the last one to have it. Yes.
Okay. Beauty is going to stand put, stay put where she is.
Okay.
And she's going to turn to the cultist just there to the north, nearest to her,
Okay.
and is going to say, "Hey, did you need something?" Just kind of looks at them, and I will hold my action to. I will hold my action to whip out my dagger, and I'm gonna take the dodge action.
Okay. All right. So you are prepared to dodge.
Yeah.
This is very much the action of a party that wants to see what the hell is going on. Is
Yeah.
what I'm getting from this so far.
Yeah.
Appropriate. Okay. Now that is going to bring us to Beatrice Enoch Hogarth, Leopold Devlin, Edward Roquefort III, who I will not use that name every single time. That's going to bring us to Beatrice. Now, Beatrice, you have come here from the side of the stage. You have been hovering up here listening to the speech that was being given by the Grand Magus. But you now see that these red and gold masked people who clearly mean no good, have turned, first of all, put on these outfits, and then have started moving in the direction of towards the western side. They seem to be heading towards, it's kind of hard to tell because it's just chaos in the square with people running everywhere, but they definitely seem to be moving to the west and maybe like west northwestish, like in this general direction, pushing people out of the side. You see one older woman who's walking by, and the cultist literally just shoves her into a wall. She kind of bangs and then falls over and lies unconscious, but again seems to be not attacking the people as much as just trying to get them out of the way to get to some other targets on the other side of the square.
Can you point to me exactly where the old woman is?
Yes, would have been right here. It was actually pushed into the rail, and the cultist was here. So basically the woman is now on the ground just lying unconscious, and this person just steps over on his way, or their way, to the west.
Beatrice is going to move forward towards the old woman and say, "Oh my God, hello, are you okay? Miss, ma'am, but I don't know what the correct thing is here. Ma'am," and I'm going to try to use my investigation skill to figure out what is going on with her.
Okay, only the highest level of technology, Chad. I want to be clear.
Yep.
Okay.
I feel like it's going to evolve every episode until he somehow has an actual beholder.
Yeah,
by the end
exactly.
of the campaign,
Exactly. Like
in front of
full
the camera.
3-dimensional model.
This is
like
only
another-
the
yeah,
beginning.
exactly.
Only the beginning, chat.
Okay, so let me have you make an investigation check for me then, please.
Okay.
And you should be able to use the basic stats, I think, of the beholder.
Yeah. Hold on, just 1 second as I pull that particular part up, real quick. Okay.
And it's intelligence based, so that
Yeah, absolutely. So, let's do this. How about an 18?
Yeah, so there's no question that this woman has been knocked unconscious. You looks like you can't 100% tell. You might have to do a medicine check if you wanted to see about like how terribly damaged she is, but she doesn't. She's still breathing, but she seems to have a nasty bruise on her head where she impacted against the railing of the pillar there. And the cultist is just, marching away, paying. Let me just move you for a second. Paying no attention to her.
So I don't feel like she's in an immediate danger.
Doesn't seem like it, no.
Okay.
Nasty
Beatrice
headache
will
maybe,
then
but-
turn.
Yeah.
Say what?
Nasty headache maybe
What?
when she wakes up, but
Right. Beatrice will then turn and say, and go right up to the follow the cultist and say, excuse me, you need to actually take care of this. You hurt her. Come back and help her. Come back and help me help her. I need your hands. Come back here.
okay. So this is appropriate timing, I think, because the cultists are up next. So are you attempting to persuade or intimidate, or just speak to like, hey, how are things going type of thing? Because the
I'm
cultist
attempting to-
turns directly towards you.
I'm attempting to implore. Like I'm trying to get them to do the right thing. I'm not trying to. It's more like convincing, I guess.
Gotcha. Okay. Let's see. So this is not going to work, but I want you to do a persuasion check for me anyway, because I am curious to see the ways in which it won't work, which won't be your fault. So do a
Okay.
persuasion check for me, which is charisma based.
Yes. Give me 1 second.
I'm sorry to hear that, Shaylo. That sucks. I don't know what to say there. I don't have control over that, I'm afraid. Oh,
How about a 2
so
or a
let's
1
see.
if you'd like?
That seems about right narratively. The cultist is like, and actually just sort of, you just hear a kind of, and then swings away at you, Beatrice. Let's see. So, and all of these are using, by the way, metal staves, or that's what it looks like to you. Okay. And it's going to... Okay. That is going to be a 20 to hit, not natural.
Yeah, it's gonna hit me.
It felt the need to tell me that this does bludgeoning damage. I think they mean bludgeoning.
Bludgeoning.
Pretty confident that means
Prepare for the bludgeoning.
the bludgeoning. Okay. That is going to do 3 points of damage to you, Beatrice, as the staff... Doosh, you hear the sound of the kicking of a flabby football as Beatrice is, you know... And, yeah, just complete turned around and just hit you. And after doing that, Beatrice, the cultist literally turns around and starts walking away again. And you could, if you wish, get an attack of opportunity here, because it is literally, he's paying no attention. She just hit you and then turns and starts to walk away. So it's up to you. You could get an attack of opportunity or not, up to you.
How rude. I don't even. And I cast catapult.
Catapult. On
That
an
is
attack
the-
of opportunity?
Oh.
Yeah.
Wait. You'd have to have Warcaster.
I'd have to have what?
There's a feat that lets you cast a spell with an attack of opportunity, but that's why Arv was like, with a opportunity attack.
But-
Yeah, you can't normally cast spells with a opportunity attack.
All right. Well, then what Beatrice will do is like reach in, open wide, and attack.
Bah. The bite is certainly appropriate. That's
Right,
actually
so-
terrifying. We've been brought inside the mouth of Beatrice now. And
Right. Exactly.
all right. So let's see how that bite attack works.
Okay.
And that's true, Ridnell. If you're smacked with a metal pipe, it might do bludgeoning damage. That's a good point.
How about 13?
13 will hit. Also, of course, I also love Beatrice. Who could not love Beatrice? Yes, that will hit.
And how about a 1?
Okay. And so you do that to the to this cultist, and the cultist sort of and you do this because it's basically to his back, and the cultist turns around again, and that's going to be all the cultist can do, because the cultist is now dealt with you and then is turned around again. So you are facing down this cultist, eye to eye, as it were, eye to eyes.
Eyes
And
to eyes.
multiple eyes to eyes. Okay, but one thing you notice though, I'm not noting this because you would see this as unusual because of your own upbringing, Beatrice, but I do want to point out that none of them are flipping out at the fact that they are facing a beholder. Just noting that for the record. That may or may not suggest something to you. We'll see. Okay, meanwhile, the other ones are moving in. So they push across. All of this area in the middle, by the way, is going to be considered, at least for a couple of rounds, essentially difficult terrain in the center of the square here. So basically between these 4 pillars, because it's just absolute chaos of people running back and forth.
Okay.
Outside the pillars is not, there's much fewer people there, many fewer people there, so it's fine to be able to do what you folks did. But inside that area is tough sledding. As a result, actually, this cultist is not even going to get to Beauty. And neither is this one. I'm going to get to about here. This one, though, is going to close on Elu and is going to attempt to attack with a metal staff. But Elu nimbly dodges out of the way, parries the thrust with ease, and then strikes back. Let's see. Oh, yep, that's definitely a hit.
Wow.
That's a solid hit, too. Really just, you hear this, those of you who are watching, which might be... Well, actually, Nals can't see it because you're under the stage, and Fob might be able to because of being in the bush, but Beauty would probably be able to see this.
Yeah.
That there's just a solid crunching sound that you hear, and the cultist sort of rears back, stumbles back from the hit. That looks like a very powerful hit, and you can see that Elu has a longsword drawn and looks very, very focused. It is the kind of, if it is anger, it's the kind of the I am now focused with all my training, and I'm going to obliterate you because I'm pissed off type of training. So Elu looks very unhappy. Okay, and those are the cultists. As the second round begins, I want to note, Nulls can't see this. Fob and Beatrice and Beauty would be able to see this, that Grand Magus Illifor here turns around and waves at the stage, and a golden circle begins to appear and grow, and basically go from a flat position up into a vertical position. You don't know what that means, but it is currently what the Grand Magus is doing. And that brings us up to Fob. I think you're muted, Cap.
So this is a cultist right here, close to me?
Let's see. Yeah, about 15, maybe 20 feet away. These squares are 5 feet. About
And
15 feet.
the direction that they're headed in
Towards Beauty.
toward Beauty. Well, I would like to reserve my action until they are past me and then pop out and attack them from behind.
Okay. I think that's reasonable. That means that they will... Okay, so we'll keep that in mind, because when they move to attack Beauty, if I haven't done so already, remind me, and you'll have a chance to do that. So just so you know, Fob, since they're a little bit away, you're going to have to, like... It's not a complete jumping out, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like just sneaking out of the bush. You'll have to make your way out a few feet
I'm
to get
going
into the open.
to spring out like a deadly precision spear made of teeth and scales.
Outstanding. I cannot wait to see it. Okay. All right. That is going to, let's see, bring us down to Nalik, who is up next. Nalik, you are under the stage, and you do hear the sound above, first of all, screaming and everything, but right above you, you hear what sounds like a kind of a low-pitched chant of some kind, as if someone is casting a spell nearby. But it's above you, and you don't know what the spell is. It's just someone is clearly doing something magical.
Well, what are those cats doing up on that stage? Because I'm hearing and feeling stuff that shouldn't be put out into the universe.
Indeed.
Can I do a perception check?
Well, below the
How
stage...
would I figure out? Oh, okay.
What I'll allow you to do is do an Arcana check if you wish to see if you can tell.
I was thinking Arcana. I was like, no, that's not right.
Yeah, no, you're right. I think to try to get a sense of what this, because it's something magical that's being chanted.
Okay, how do I do that exactly? For everybody who's new here, I have no idea what I'm doing.
Okay, so for Arcana, which should be, I think, are you looking at your D&D Beyond?
Yes.
Okay. So you should be able to do, there should be a skill for Arcana that you probably have on there. If not, it's an intelligence-based check.
Yep.
If you don't have Arcana, but
I've got Arcana +3.
that wouldn't surprise me,
Yeah.
so yeah.
Yeah, just click
So if you
the
mouse
+3.
over
Oh,
it,
okay.
Yep.
there you go.
Hey, there you go.
The best guess that you have is that what's being done is, it's hard to get exactly a read on what it is, Knowles, but it sounds like someone is conjuring something. You don't know what, but if you had to guess, some of the words remind you of things you might have heard during your time at the academy, and it sounds like someone is conjuring something. You don't know if that means summoning creature or a door or a treasure chest. I mean, it could be anything, but they're conjuring something.
So are they speaking a language I may not know?
No, they're speaking definitely in a magical kind of runic. This is intended to have magical power, but you don't recognize the spell nature of it, other than the fact that it's conjuring something.
So I don't recognize...
Very high level, I will say.
the
Yeah,
chants
words you
and-
haven't heard before, yeah.
So I have another spell called Comprehend Languages.
Mm-hmm.
Would I be able to use that the next turn?
You might be able to, depending on how long it takes them to cast this spell. It may be over next turn. You don't know, but yes,
Okay.
theoretically you could try. Are you moving anywhere else under the stage, or are you staying there?
Well, things might get a little hot under here. If I could, is it possible for me to go back into the merchant shop?
Let's see, 5, 10, 15. You can get out of under the stage and get close to the merchant shop, I would say. Like you could probably 5, 10, 15. You could probably be about here-ish.
Could I get into the sewer?
Into the sewer, not without lifting up the grate, and you're not going to be able to do that this turn. You don't even know if
Okay.
the grate's locked.
Let me see. I'm going to move just closer over here.
Okay. So you push your way underneath where the chanting is louder. So you're definitely now right underneath whatever is doing the chanting, for sure.
Yeah, I'm getting away from that energy.
Okay, next up is Beauty with Beatrice on deck. Beauty, what would you like to do? You have a cultist heading right for you.
It seems two.
Actually, two
cultists.
heading right for you.
Yeah.
Yes, that's true.
So I kind of look behind and in front of me, and I see just a few moments ago Elu kind of like dodging that blow from the other cultists and then
Yep.
attacking them back.
Yep.
So then I turn and I yell to Fob and say, Fob, I think we're in trouble. They are not nice people. And I'm this time, instead of dodging, now I feel like there is going to be a bit of violence, but I'm not going to, Beauty's not going to just start attacking unless they hit her first. And
Okay.
so instead of dodging with this action, I'm going to hold an attack. If I'm hit, then I will retaliate with my dagger, but I'm just gonna, I will move here, maybe just a little step over to give more room for Fob to come in maybe behind.
Okay.
But yeah, Beauty just sort of waits, and then I'll also say that last session, in kind of preparation for deactivating these devices, I had cast Armor of Agathis.
Yep.
And that lasts for an hour, so that's still up. So I basically have this very light shield of ice that's giving me some extra hit points, and then also will damage attackers if that happens. But anyway, so yeah, I'm going to hold my attack if I get hit.
Lovely. Okay, that's going to bring us then to Beatrice. Beatrice, you have a cultist in your grill. And by grill, I mean your eye. Zzz.
You we don't know. Are you saying anything?
I was going to say, this is just the look. The cultist
Apparently-
immediately
apparently-
surrenders, and like,
So it was perfectly appropriate with what I said, right? So
Yeah.
here's what Beatrice is just like not going to do anything, hold their action, it's their action, and it's
Okay.
just going to stare and float
okay,
God.
and just kind of like look intimidating, but not quite sure whether they're intimidating or not, right? They're just kind of like they're paying attention to the situation. They're not sure what's going to happen next, so they're going to hold their action.
okay. Can you give me an if-then scenario? If the cultist hits you, which it might do since you just bit them in the back.
If the cultist attacks me, I'm going to cast catapult on them.
Okay. Then catapult will actually happen in this case.
Yes.
Fair enough. I'm excited for that moment. In fact, it's appropriate that since we're all excited about it, the cultist is going to begin with doing this. So now, is it if they attack you or if they hit you?
We'll say hit.
Okay. So let's see. This cultist has no idea what they're in for. Okay, we are looking at that's a 12 to hit.
Yeah, that's a hit.
Okay. Couldn't have been by much, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. That is only 2 points of damage. Okay, so now you're going to use catapult. Now, please tell the fine folks at home, I have already seen and I'm already amused at what catapult does, but tell the fine folks what it does.
Choose one object weighing 1 to 5 pounds within range that isn't being worn or carried. The object flies in a straight line up to 90 feet into the direction you choose before falling to the ground, stopping if it impacts in against any solid surface.
Right.
If the object strikes a creature, the creature must make a dex saving throw. On a failed save, the object strikes the creature and stops moving. When the object hits, the object does 3d8 bludgeoning damage.
Outstanding. Okay, so what object, because you can't throw the cultist, who is clearly more than 5 pounds, what object are you catapulting into the cultist?
What does Beatrice see with their eyes all around them? That seems like the heaviest.
Well, there are definitely, I would say, are probably stones, and there is a great deal. In fact, I'll give you one example for sure. There is a shoe that is literally on the ground, not far from them, where someone clearly running away has had it ripped off in their heedless flight.
A shoe, you say? I'll take a stone.
Okay. It's too bad. I was really tempted to see if the shoe would work.
Steel-toed shoe?
Yeah, steel-toed. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, well, if
It
it's
is
a
a Doc
steel-toe
Martin
shoe,
with
A
spike.
high
No,
heel?
no. It is.
A
It is neither
stiletto?
of those things. Okay, so you'll take a stone. Okay, and then you're going to do it in this direction. So he needs to make a dexterity saving throw.
that is correct.
He critically missed this dexterity saving throw. So probably because he was not expecting this. So you can now roll 3d8 bludgeoning damage.
That was 12.
Wow.
12 is good. So you strike this person, and he just flies backward and lands on the ground. And there is a moment where you do this, and one of the people running by is like, ah, and then sees them on the ground. Oh, hops over, and then, ah, it just keeps running the same way. Yeah, your cultist is gone, Beatrice. Where would you like to move? There are currently 1, 2, 3, 4. Is it just 4? Not counting the ones on the stage. 1, 2, 3. Oh no, there's one in the middle. So 4, 5. So there are 5 cultists which remain. So are you heading anywhere, Beatrice? Incidentally, this drawing is going to haunt my dreams. I just want you to be clear about this, that I'm going to be thinking of a a drawn paper drawing, 2-part drawing of a beholder. So
Can you ping the closest cultist,
sure.
whether it's on stage or not?
Closest cultist is probably here. I would say it's a little closer than here. Those are the 2 closest.
Beatrice is going to head towards this one. So
Okay.
I'll go ahead and move them.
Okay, and only down, remember, 15 feet. You can only go, because you have 30 feet speed, I assume?
20, I believe I'm 25.
Okay, so we'll round it up and say that you can get 3 squares then because of the difficult terrain. Again, it's still like just chaos with people running here and there. So you can move yourself there, if you like, if you want to move towards that cultist.
So is there a reason that height would be a problem for Beatrice?
Height in terms of, like flying over the crowd?
That's correct.
Probably not. The issue, I think, would be sinking in or getting out. So let's say that getting out's not a problem where you are, but sinking in will cut it back. So you can go, instead of 25, let's say you could go 20. So that means you could get an extra square, like right about
Right,
there.
but so Beatrice they'll fly, they'll levitate up, right? And we need to figure out the language to describe this. There's been a little bit of going on in Twitch chat, but
Yeah.
like there might be like an arc going on there, so it's like an up and over kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Right, but so it's there's going to be altitude gained essentially, and to compensate for lack of closeness in that way particularly. Would be my assumption.
That's right. I think that's right. So,
okay, so 20 feet then.
So that'll bring you to about there, roughly, if you
Okay.
wanted to do that.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
And then about 10 feet in the air, or above that.
Right. About 10 feet in the air. Okay, cool. All right. Sounds like a plan. Xanos wants you to know that not catapulting the soul is a missed opportunity that hurts his soul. SOLE. So just to be clear,
No.
Listen, I mean, I don't know.
This is a soulless game.
And exactly. And it's a soulless game with drawings to boot. I'll let you think about that, and let's go on to the cultists. All right,
my
the cultists are
God.
going to go first. Let's see. So this cultist, which is not paying attention, is going to move this way, and then this one is going to attempt to attack. Oh, I never actually got the. Oh no, I have because Elu goes last. Never mind. So is going to attempt to attack Elu, this one that has already been hit. That has already been hit badly by her. Okay. Let's see. Misses terribly. And now we have the two that are... So that one's over there. This one is coming in this direction. And, okay. Now, Beauty, we have this. Now, I'm going to do this one first because this is going to give Fob a chance to do what Fob said that they were waiting to do. So that one is now moved enough out of your way, Fob, that you could then leap out and attempt to do your attack that you've previously mentioned.
That is what I will do.
Okay.
All right. So Fob basically, where Fob has seemed a little ineffectual before, suddenly you see Fob spring from the bushes in a much more effective way. And I am going to bite this guy.
All right.
Nom,
Let's see
nom,
the
nom.
power of the bite. I would also say that this probably is a sneak attack. Hungry Jaws.
Hungry
15 will
Jaws.
absolutely hit.
Heck yeah.
All right. And that does bum, bum, bum.
1 million damage.
It does. It says it does normal damage, which I believe is 1d4.
Okay. Probably plus your strength, though, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
That is. Ooh, +4.
Wow.
ha!
7.
You have a +4 for your strength?
Yes. Bob is very strong.
I guess we did talk about that. Okay, 7.
Bob
Strong Bob.
has an 18 strength.
All right. So that, so you just like you as this, you just bite the hell out of this cultist who, basically completely forgets about their attack, having been horribly damaged by this attack, and kind of sort of spins around and swings wildly at you. They're going to do this at disadvantage because this is not at all what they were expecting was going to happen on their Saturday. And they critically miss, which is appropriate. They just swing wildly over your head.
Because I hit, I get 2 temporary hit points.
Outstanding. Yeah, Beauty, you have 5 temp, right? That you're still
I
sitting
do.
on? Okay.
I do.
Which is the armor of Agathis?
Yeah. And then as far as actual health, I think I'm at 10 out of 11.
Yep, I have you at
Actual
that.
health.
Okay,
Yeah.
Fob's at 9 out of 14, but 2 temp. Okay. Lovely. All right, so taking quite literally a bite out of crime, which is a joke that will only make sense to a couple of you. Okay, so let's see. The other one is going to move in and attack Beauty.
Okay.
And we're going to see what happens, at which point, if they hit you, I guess, is when you said you're going to attack back.
Yeah.
Beauty, I believe.
Mhm.
So let's see. We're looking at, that is a 21.
Yeah.
So that is going to be 4 points of damage. So that's
Okay.
taken off your temp. What does that do, though, when they hit the
Yeah.
ice?
So for when they hit with their metal staff, the kind of shatter of the glass shield that's around me, which is still present very barely, this sort of aura,
Yeah.
kind of snaps back and spectral ice shards shoot back at them. So for a long time, I thought that the armor of Agathis did damage proportional to how much temp HP was left.
Mm-hmm.
But no matter how much temp HP is left, it does the original amount.
Yeah,
so
it's nice.
he takes 5 cold damage.
Very nice.
Just for attacking.
And he kind of stumbles back. You can tell, Beauty, that this is not... So, I mean, they are clearly trained, but this is not like some incredibly amazing warrior that because this did a lot. This hurt them a lot, you can tell.
Okay.
And so he kind of staggers back. And now you also, because you held your action, you can take your dagger attack on this creature if you wish.
Let's see. And I was looking through. I refrained from deciding to cast like a ranged spell attack because I know that I'd get disadvantage on that.
That's right.
And I have one called Frostbite, but when I looked at it, Frostbite actually although it has a range, it forces the target to make a Constitution saving throw. So it's technically not a ranged attack roll. It's a saving throw based spell.
Oh, I see
So
what
I
you're
was
saying.
wondering if I could actually, because I'm thinking right now, Beauty's probably not the type to stab a person yet. So if I instead could case him with more frost, that's probably what I would do, and it's still an action cantrip. So I was wondering if I could do that instead.
Let me just double check quickly. I
Sure.
think that's probably fine. This is from Xanathar's. That's why I wasn't seeing it. Yeah, I think that's reasonable. It's not a ranged attack in the same way. It's kind of instantaneous, actually. So, yes, that's fine. He
Okay.
will have to take a con saving throw then.
Cool. Awesome.
The
Thank
same one that you just hit, right?
you. Yep.
Right.
Or that just hit me. That, yeah.
Yeah. Does not make that. Actually,
Okay.
what is the DC that I was trying to...
14 for me.
Okay, well, 4 doesn't get the job done.
Yeah.
So, yes, so it is hit. So how much damage does that do?
It's gonna do a d6 of cold damage, which
All right.
I will roll
Roll that
right
up.
now. So that's another 4.
You'll be happy to
Points of
know that this person has been hit by too much cold damage in one turn to survive, and it falls to the ground.
All right.
And expires. Okay, good stuff, Beatrice. Not a great turn for the cultists. That is going to bring us to the top of the round, but 2 things happen. Actually, wait. First, we have to have Alu first, who is going to go after the cultist that she is fighting again. I think that's going to be a miss, though. Yeah, sadly going to miss. You hear a curse of frustration. When we get to the top of the round, I guess the only one who would see this, because Beauty is otherwise occupied, maybe Beauty would see it because of having just knocked down the cultist. So Fob,
Sure.
who's facing that direction, and Beauty. Beatrice is facing away, and obviously Nulls is
Under the stage.
is still under the stage. Sees the Magus turn with a sneer, it looks like, walk into the portal, followed by these 2 cultists on stage, and vanishes, along with the 2 of them. And the minute that happens, by the way, the force wall drops.
Ooh.
Now, most of you are not necessarily going to know that, but Nulls, I would say almost certainly you have this sensation that something above you has changed. It's not anything you can do a check to determine yet, but something above you has changed, and also the chanting that you heard has stopped, unfortunately. So you were like starting to get ready to maybe figure out how to, but it's already over. It was a quick couple of phrases, and then that's all. But keep in mind what you heard about the conjuration, because after this combat is over, you may wish to inquire further. So, okay. So, having done all of that, that is going to bring us to the top of the round with Fob. You have one very badly bitten cultist that you're facing. And there's one cultist up here, and then there are 2 cultists remaining who are, as it were, fresh. This one and this one. What would you like to do?
So this one appears damaged and is just sort of lying there on the ground, and I don't need to worry that they're going to hurt anyone.
Which one is that? This one?
This one, yeah.
No, they're still functional. They
well.
do look badly hurt, but they are still functional.
Well, then I'm going to hurt them some more.
Okay. All right. This will not be a sneak attack, but they are now facing you.
Does an 11 hit?
An 11 will not quite hit,
Mm.
unfortunately. I'm sorry to say. So you miss. It was close.
And I will hiss.
But
I
you
will
miss.
hiss ferociously and in an intimidating manner.
It's like the cultist kind of, you don't see a reaction on the face because it's masked, but sort of just kind of looks. The mask seems like, as you say that, as you do that. That's going to. So I assume you're staying where you are then, Fob, movement wise.
Yes.
Okay. That is going to lead us to Nalik. Nalik, you were under the stage, and as I say, you have the chanting above you has stopped.
That portal is still there, though, right?
You don't even know that it's there at the moment because you can't
Okay.
see it.
I can't feel it.
No, the only thing you felt was something changed about the stage, like around the stage, but you can't feel the portal right now, partly because you're away from it.
Okay, so I'm going to bend down and
Okay.
take a peek outside and see what the haps is.
Okay. I think you're already bent, actually. You're probably on hands and knees, would be my guess. But you can definitely do that. You want to look out, like, here?
About, yeah, that area right in front.
Okay.
I see some feet to my right and to my left.
Yes, they are all running. You look out and you see a number of things. The square is starting to clear out a little bit of people, but there's still a lot of people running here and there. You can see a cultist lying dead on the ground, or you would assume so. You see what you certainly, with your experience, would know to be a beholder here, like moving towards down this way. You don't know what that means, but it's definitely a beholder. Not something native to Camria for sure, but in your studies you've probably heard of these things. You also see down over here through the feet that it looks like maybe Fob is like hissing angrily at another cultist, and you can't quite make out Beauty, but you know Beauty is somewhere around here. So basically a lot of chaos and a couple of dead cultists and a random beholder.
And who's this in front to my right? Can I see that person?
This person right here?
Yes.
Yeah, that's just a person who's actually one of the, just someone who's like running here and there, basically, just
Okay.
Running generally away from the square.
And I can't see Alu.
You cannot see Alu. Although I guess if you looked out, if you were doing the full scan, then yeah, you probably would see Alu, or what looks like at the back of Alu here, battling another one of these cultists.
And is Alu okay? Is Alu handling her business?
Alu
or
looks
is-
fine for now, from what you can tell. I mean, only just a quick glance, but yeah.
Well, I do know a thing or two about beholders. And I am very interested in this beholder that's making their way across the courtyard. So, I don't feel that force anymore. I'm going to crawl on out.
Okay, you can do that. Where do you want to go? Okay. I would say that's about as far as you get after the crawl, but you can then stand up and see the chaos that is engulfed. And you can see a few cultists now, as you look around, have been killed and are lying on the ground motionless. Okay, that's going to lead us to Beauty with Beatrice on deck. Beauty, you've got one badly injured cultist in front of you.
Okay. Oh dear. And there's another one kind of to my northeast heading towards me, right?
Generally in that direction, yes.
And another one to
This one seems to be
Yeah.
heading up this way, maybe towards Alu,
I
but
see.
yeah.
Okay. Beauty will shout out to Alu and say, "Don't worry, we're helping to fight them off. What the heck is going on?" And is shouting off in her direction.
and Alu's like, "We'll talk about it afterwards. Oh, just take the kill them. The bastard. More or less.
Okay. I will stand kind of facing the cultist that's approaching to the east,
Okay.
and I'm going to hold out my hand, kind of palm facing outward, and then this strange eldritch dagger in the other hand,
Okay.
and I will oh, there's so many things I could do. Oh, we'll see. I will clench my open fist around them and close my eyes, and more frost begins to form, so I'll cast Frostbite again
Okay.
on that cultist just right here, so they need to make a con saving throw 14.
That is a 15.
Okay.
So unfortunately, they're going to make it. Does that hurt them at
Alright.
all or no?
No, nothing happens. I lose. They shake it off, and I will. Am I able to take a step back like this, but remain sort of within the range of that cultist?
So step back like to where you just went. That's
Yeah.
totally fine. Yes.
Okay, yeah, I'll just take one step back like that, so I'm kind of side by side with Fob,
Okay.
and then I'll turn and look at my lizard folk friend and be like, Should we have expected this? I don't know. And that's my turn.
Okay, that's going to lead us to Beatrice, who is currently scanning the crowd. I suddenly had this line from a Duran Duran song, facing the crowd, spotlight the crowd. I'm hungry like the wolf, but in this case, it's hungry like the boulder. So, Beatrice, you're slightly above the crowd, which is starting to clear out anyway. You can see this cultist moving in this direction, and you can probably see this cultist moving roughly in this direction. There's one up here fighting a Lou, and there's one down here fighting a lizard folk and a what looks like a human, but with this sheen of ice covering her. Sleep well, Emily. Feel better.
Beatrice is going to
This
Beatrice is going
effect
to-
means that if you're ever muted, Johnny, by the way, sorry, no, I got it. I can hear you now. But it's just like whenever you have the thing on and it's just floating, like I never was like, is that just
Yeah,
the
we don't know
intimidating
if you're-
presence of Beatrice,
Yeah.
or is that actually?
We don't know
not
if you're talking or not.
So sorry, I can hear you.
Yeah, no worries. Beatrice is going to move in front of the cultist that is currently heading away from them
Okay.
and going to confront them.
Okay. So
I'm assuming
like
it's-
this is what you're talking about, like this dude, right? Because this one, you probably can't get to them quite, even going above the
I think-
crowd. 2025.
I think I can get close.
Yeah, you can get there for sure, 100%.
right.
Yep.
So hold on, let me see if I can move.
No question.
Okay. So Beatrice is going to get in front of them and going, "What's going on? Why are you attacking people? What tell me now. You're hurting people, and this isn't right. Tell me."
And so you do that, and the cultist, you'll see what their reaction is. Are you going to do anything, any action, or hold them, or anything like that?
I'm going to hold my action. If they attempt to attack me, I'm going to bite them, but I'm trying to confront them.
Okay. All right. That'll bring us to the beginning of the round, and this one is indeed going to attack you. Does not seem interested in discussion at all. Is going to attempt to attack you, although is going to miss badly with an 8, I assume.
Yes.
It's not going to hit. Okay. So misses you, which means you can, because of your reaction, the held action, you can now bite if you wish.
All right. 1 second.
As Tren would say, chompy is what he term for this. Beatrice is hungry.
How about 14?
14 will hit.
And how about a 2?
All right. That has gotten the cultist's attention. Okay. So we will talk more about that confrontation in a little bit. Okay. This one, 5, 10, 15. Not there yet, but is now close where next turn they're going to be upon you, Beauty. This one down here is going to attempt to attack Fob, which is continually biting him. He does not like it. 21 to hit, actually, Fob. I assume that hits.
That does hit.
Okay. That is going to be 4 points of damage. So that's 2 of your temper gone, and then 2 to your regular hit points, so to speak.
Okay.
So it leaves you at 7 out of 14 I have you at?
7 out of 14.
Okay. All right. And then the other one can't do that. So then this other one is going to attempt to attack Elu. He's going to miss. Whoops. Wrong die. May not miss. It does actually hit Elu, but does very little damage. A glancing blow, which, since it's Elu's turn next, is appropriate because Elu counterattacks and just knocks this guy into next week. Absolutely,
Nice.
like literally, the blow is so fierce that it lifts the cultist a couple feet above the ground. Just like, home run special, up a couple feet, and then poosh, with this ring, this terrible thud sound as it hits the ground. And Elu then turns, and very much like Aragorn in the Fellowship of the Ring film after defeating the big orc, runs with this crazed expression, so to speak, towards the crowd. Now, only can get a little bit further, but it looks like that difficult terrain thing is not going to be an issue much longer because the square is just about cleared out now. Okay, so that's Alu's turn, and so that's going to bring us up to the top of the round. There are 4 cultists left, 2 of them badly injured, one of them a little injured. And Fob, you are up next. The one that you're attacking is one of the badly injured ones.
All right. I am. Does a 12 hit?
12 will hit, yes.
Oh, okay. All right.
Nice. Going for the bites. I love it.
For 6 points.
Okay, that is clearly enough. This one just terrible wound appears and it sinks to the ground and expires. All right, Fob, you're now able to move. There are how many did I say? There are 2 cultists, I believe, which remain.
And so like this one is that I'm clicking on, that one is alive?
That is alive, but injured pretty badly. And this one is, I think, fresh, because I don't think you hit this, Beatrice, or did you? Oh, no, you did actually. I think you did hit that one, yeah.
So yeah, for
just
2 points of damage.
Yeah, that's right. So just a little injured, but still.
The one that's heading towards me, what was it injured from?
From hitting, it was from hitting you. Because you were right next to it, remember? And then you moved. Oh, no, this one, I take that back. No, you had killed him. That one is actually fresh, because he was just trying to get to you. So that one is non-injured. I apologize.
Cool.
Okay, so you do see Fob. Fob is going to disappear back into the bush.
Okay.
Ooh.
Returns to the bush. Okay.
Homer Simpson gif again.
One more time. Okay, that's going to lead us to Nalik, who is up next. You can see the square clearing out, Nalik. You can see Alu is running down this way, and you can see that there are Beauty is standing there while one cultist approaches, and this beholder you were interested in is dealing with another cultist over on this side.
Well, looks like Alu's on her way to Beauty. Now, this beholder down here is still all alone.
True.
So I'm going to get a little bit closer. And then I'm going to attempt to help this beholder friend out.
Okay.
With the unseen servant spell.
Ah, interesting.
Ooh.
All right. So let's talk about that unseen servant spell. Specifically, I want to know how you're helping using it.
So I would like to send my Dreamwalker down there to serve as a distraction to this cultist.
Okay.
Whereby the Dreamwalker will shake their butt in the cultist's face.
Yeah, I was going to say, the Dreamwalker is visible, though. Otherwise, this butt shaking would not have as much of effect as you would hope. You follow what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if it's an invisible stalker, you'd be like, you should be distracted.
Oh, it is invisible.
Yeah. That's going to make the butt shaking a little bit less effective.
Let me see. So the invisible servant can interact. So
sure.
Let's see. Can light a fire down the cultist's pants.
Interesting. Can the unseen servant
liar
fire? This is what I'm trying to think of is how I would do this with a check. Let's see. So, lighting fires waits for your next command. So it says you can interact. Okay, I'll tell you what. Because the unseen servant can interact with objects, not necessarily people, I will allow you to interact with it by having the unseen servant attempt to set something on the cultist on fire, which might actually be distracting. So if you want to do that, like set its cloak on fire or something cool like that, I will try to do that. Again, I don't know whether it'll work or not. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have you make for me... No, I won't have you make anything. I'll have this see whether he's able to resist it. He's going to do a saving throw. Let's see whether he can resist this effect. Yeah, it's going to be a 15. Okay, so he, for a moment, he kind of is like, because he hears like this as if something is trying to light a match near the area of his cloak, but it doesn't seem to work quite yet, and so doesn't seem to pay any attention. But your unseen servant is still there, theoretically, Nalik. So you can try that, something like that again next turn if you wish. In the meantime, do you want to move any closer, or do you want to stay where you are?
I will move a little closer.
Okay. All right, so suddenly, Beatrice, you are aware of the existence of a very cool-looking figure who moves next to you. And you will be able to interact with said person when we get to your turn. But first, it's Beauty's turn as this uninjured cultist moves in your direction. Out of the corner of your eye, you do see Alu charging towards you, though.
As this cultist is moving, my attention's almost solely focused on them. And when I clenched my fist and tried to get, I think maybe the same cultist last turn, and then nothing happened.
Yep.
I kind of look at the Eldritch dagger in my hand, and I'm like, come on. And I'm like shaking it. And you see,
do you
like,
say, is this a dagger I see before me? I just want to make sure you know if that happens.
Is that a reference to something? I don't know.
Maybe a certain play.
Yes. I say, is this a dagger before me or not? Come on. And I kind of like, you see frost like shimmering around my hand, and I'm like, okay. And I hold my palm out to this same cultist again, clench my fist. I'm going to try it one more time. Frostbite. So, con saving throw, 14.
Does not make it this time. It's an 11.
Awesome.
So
Okay.
go ahead and roll your damage.
All right. Nice. So that's 5 points of cold damage.
All right.
And the secondary effect is that the next attack roll they make has disadvantage.
Okay. That will be of great use. Okay, so that one's hurt. And the other one that Beatrice and Nalik are near is hurt. Speaking of Beatrice, actually, Beauty first. Do you want to move anywhere or not?
I will. Yeah.
Guy's pretty
I'm
chill.
gonna-
Nice.
I'm going to move. If I could, I would like to move here. I kind of sidestep a little bit.
You can.
here.
You can definitely
Okay.
do that.
That's
okay,
it for me.
Beatrice, you are up next. What would you like to do? You can see now that this clearly human has taken up a position next to you, and you are looking down as well at this cultist to the south, at this cultist in front of you.
Yes.
Beatrice, floating there, couple of their eyes kind of like slowly kind of turn and take in this wonderful human standing next to them, but with their gigantic eye still focused intently. I ask you again, tell me, why are you attacking? What are you doing? Why are you hurting people? And Beatrice is going to hold their action and wait for them to be attacked again before they bite again.
Okay. All right. And let's see. Okay. Now we'll come back to that in a minute. All right. It's actually their turn. So this one is going to attack you, Beatrice. Sadly, does not seem to have gotten the memo about trying to be thoughtful and all that. Is a 19.
That totally hits.
I'm afraid. Okay. That is a grand total of 3 points of damage, which I think leaves you at 1, unless I'm mistaken.
That's right. A whole big fat one.
Wow. Okay. Which means you can now attack because you're able to do that.
Give me 1 second. And a 14.
14 will hit.
Let's do a whole whopping 4 points of damage.
4 points of damage. Okay. Very hurt now. Not dead, but very hurt. Quite hurt, but not dead. Okay. Meanwhile, the other remaining cultist comes down and attacks Beauty, who is right there. Beauty still has that one temporary hit point
Yep.
from the shield.
It's putting in a lot of work.
It has. That's a terrible miss. 9 is not going to get it done, I assume.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it doesn't.
So that's going to bring us. Oh, sorry. Nope. It's not going to bring us to the top round because Alu is going to arrive on the scene at the end of the round. And just, yeah, of course she does. Again, I love how the dice fit the narrative. As she just is like on her way down, sword, and just slams into the side of this one who is aiming for you, Beauty. And is going to do enough damage to eliminate the threat by a long way. In fact, Beauty, you only barely dodge out of the way as Alu's strike basically sends this guy's body almost 15 feet this way, just like stoosh, and then just hits the ground and comes to a stop and is dead. And Alu sort of arrives at your side and then turns to survey the scene and sees two things. First of all, Nal's standing next to a beholder. And secondly, this one cultist which remains. Which brings us up to the top of the round. Fob, there is one cultist remaining. And you're in a bush. You're muted, I think, Cap.
And it's that one near me.
No,
Right.
this is Alu right here. This one
that
over
one.
here is the cultist.
Oh, that one. Well, sure, you'll see. Well, I mean, I don't think Fob can get to them, can they?
Not likely. If 20,
Okay, so
25.
Fob,
I guess
Fob's
on a
just
double
gonna-
move, could.
No, Fob's going to just move up here and kind of survey things.
Okay. Not
like-
difficult terrain, by the way, anymore in the middle. It's now cleared out, so it's just basically the fight going on in the middle of the
Fob
square.
looks pretty ragged, I'm sure.
Yeah, I would say.
Many of us do.
Absolutely. Okay, and is going to stand and survey, but that's it. Not holding an action or anything, Fob, or
I'm holding an action, and if anybody comes near me that seems hostile, I'm going to bite them again.
okay. Nalik, you are standing next to this beholder. There's quite injured cultists that you're facing.
Can I use 2 cantrips in a turn? Is that possible?
Generally not. No, unless one of them is a bonus action. It would say under casting time. If it's a bonus action, then yes, you can cast more than one. But if it's a regular action, then no, you can't usually cast 2 spells on a turn.
Okay. Let me. Okay.
But it should say under casting time. You can also tell me what the spell is, and I can double check.
They are not.
Hey, boss.
So I've still got my unseen servant over there. This one's almost done, right?
Yeah, pretty badly hurt.
Can I just attack with my rapier?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay. And how would I do that?
So you would roll your d20. You're going to add. It might say it on your character sheet in D&D Beyond. You can just click on it, but if not, it's probably Dex, I'm guessing, for you. So it would be d20 plus your Dex score. But it should say on your character sheet, I think, Toya, on D&D Beyond, there should be a thing where you can just click on it, I think.
Click on my dexterity.
No,
What-
on your
what are you
weapon.
trying
She's
to do?
attacking with a rapier.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So if you go to, do you see where it says actions next to spells?
Actions next to spells. Yes.
Yep. And then under actions, are there any? Do you see any weapons listed there? Like under actions, it might say dagger or quarterstaff or anything like that.
It says unarmed strike, although I should have a
So-
rapier, so I'm.
Yeah. Here.
Oh, there-
Well, I know. Oh, you see rapier?
No, I just have bonus actions. Actions in
I think
combat.
so. If you want, if you go to your inventory,
Yep.
kind of 2 tabs over, find the rapier in your inventory, and then make sure that the square next to it is selected.
Weird. It has 2 daggers here and no rapier.
Oh,
Where was the rapier? That's very strange.
it is illusionary.
Right. It's been stolen by one of these terrible
This is
cultists.
really weird. Because I know
we
I
could
chose it.
add it in a little bit. Do you? I guess,
Yeah.
Arv, do you just want to have her make a dex
For
roll
now,
and
just
then-
make just do the dex attack. So just D20
Okay.
plus your dex modifier.
So
for now.
my rapier, which is totally in my hand right now,
Of course, totally.
I whip it out and I thrust at this cultist.
Sounds like a plan.
Cool.
So that was a save. Can you do just the dex check for me, not a save?
Yeah.
Oh,
just right above
just
that.
at the top.
Yep.
This one,
Mhm.
okay. Oh, that was even better.
Oh, well, unfortunately, the 7 is not going to get it done.
No.
I'm sorry to say. The cultist dodges out of the way silently, does not make any comment to you. And are you going to stay where you are, Nalik, next to Beatrice there?
I'm going to actually use my cantrip now, if I can.
Okay, what's the cantrip? Is it a
It's
bonus
the-
double? But let's make sure. Is it a bonus action though? Because if it's an action, you can't. Well, what's the cantrip actually?
the blade ward.
Because technically, you don't. The action that you did was your attack.
Okay.
Movement is its own separate action.
Oh, I'm
so-
so okay. I'm gonna move away then.
Be careful though. If you move, this is actually good because we're getting all of these moments out. So there's a function in combat called attack of opportunity. If you move away from what's called a threatened square, in this case you're right next to the cultist engaging them in melee. If you move away from the square your full movement, as if you were like, turning and running, it means the person can actually do what's called an attack of opportunity and get a free attack on you. But you can disengage, which means you just step back 5 feet, and that means you're out of melee range, and then they can't attack you. You can't move further after that, though, this turn.
Yeah, I'm
So-
I'm not turning my back.
Okay.
I'm not dead dumb.
Okay, so you're just going
Oh.
to step back 5 feet. That's
Yeah.
totally fine. You can do that for sure. So go ahead and move yourself back. Good stuff. Well done. And that's Beauty is up next with Beatrice on deck. Beauty, what do you want to do?
I turn to Elu and does I kind of look over at her and I make eye contact. Does she seem at all focused on the fact that her brother is a charred corpse on the
She
stage?
seems
or
exceedingly death intense focus, just very, very concentrated on the remaining cultist. What
Got
that
it.
means, you're not sure, but
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
that
Yeah,
was
so I
not the
kinda-
feel you got when you talked to her outside of combat.
Sure. Okay. So yeah, I kind of give her a sentimental, a sympathetic look, but see that she's completely intent on more anger and revenge in this moment, and I kind of look away, and I'll turn to Fob and just briefly ask, "Are you okay?"
No, I have been considerably battered.
I, maybe after this is over, we can do something about that. And I'll just look in the distance and see that beholder and the cultist approaching. I will try it. I'll look at the dagger again in my hand and be like, okay, let's see if we can help. The frostbite has a 60-foot range, so I'll just try to cast it again on this
Okay.
other cultist.
Let's
Constitution
see.
saving throw. 14.
That is a 12, so it definitely will hit.
Okay. I will deal 1 point of cold damage,
Well,
and they have disadvantage on their next attack.
okay. Definitely remind me about that disadvantage if need be.
Okay.
They're it's like, "Ugh." And are you staying where you are, Beauty?
Yeah, I am.
Okay, Beatrice, you can see a somewhat frozen, not still moving, but very, very cold and very hurt cultist in front of you, Beatrice.
You've given me no choice. You won't answer my questions, and you continue to hurt me. So, rah! Going in with the bite for one final time.
Okay. Okay, go ahead and make that a
Alright.
roll.
With a 15
Absolutely.
and a 1.
So what I said really hurt. Still super, super hurt. Is it really only a 1?
Do you
do they
do you
don't have
not
any
have
strength
strength to
any
add to
strength
that?
bonus or no?
You got a 9 strength.
All right, that's
Oh,
a no.
no.
Okay.
So no, there is no bonus going on there.
So so this one is like this is the whittling away of the cultists. All right, are you staying where you are, Beatrice?
Yes, Beatrice is staying where they are, and they are just like they're floating there with their after their attack and just eyes blazing.
Okay. The one remaining one is going to attempt to attack with a 10. I don't think that's going to get the job done.
Nope.
And let's see, Alu, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Yeah, I think so. 30. Gets to 30 feet, which is the end of her movement, and throws her longsword at the cultist, but it's the type of thing. It is an impressive feat of strength. Let's see how it works out for her, as they say. Well, I'd say a 19 works pretty well. So that literally hits this guy who only had one remaining hit point. You'll be surprised to know. And so just goes flying back, hits the ground, and does not move. And Lou sort of comes to a halt as she sees the last cultist there, and turns around and kind of looks and scans the crowd, and then looks up at the stage. And looking up at the stage, and you can see you're now left in a field of corpses, not just the corpses of the cultists, but also a couple of people who clearly got in the way while the cultists were trying to get to you and Ilu, and are just lying there. And you can see there are some guards starting to approach from different parts outside of the square. But she rushes to the stage. It is a smoldering body. She sort of vaults onto the stage, and she goes next to the person who is lying on the stage, smoldering, and hangs her head. And I think that is a good moment for us to take our break, folks. As the combat has come to an end, we have to deal with the aftermath of that combat and then move perhaps from fantasy into space. You are here watching the incredible Expedition from the Mysterious Peaks crew, sponsored by Alligator Alley Entertainment. I am joined by Johnny Pittman and a Beholder Drawing, Toya Kristen Finley, Kat Rambo, and Zach Clay. If you like what you see in here, please don't forget that you can cheer, if you wish, within Twitch. Any bits that we get will be added to the ones that we had from our last session, and those will be distributed among our players. So if you would like the players to get a little bit of understanding of how much you're enjoying their play, please do that, and we will, and they will appreciate, I have no doubt, your largesse. But in the meantime, please stick around, and we will be back. It's 9:30, so we'll be back right around, let's say, 9:40, about 9 minutes from now. So we'll be back in about 9 minutes. Until then, hold tight.
Great.
All right, everyone. We are back. So let me bring us back to the map. Welcome back to day 2 of Expedition from the Mysterious Peaks, sponsored by Alligator Alley Entertainment. And I hope you folks are enjoying this as much as I am. We are going to see what happens now in the aftermath of this combat. So, again, as a reminder, don't forget, if you wish to show the players direct appreciation, supporting the channel in general, of course, is always appreciated. But if you want to show the players direct appreciation, you can do that by cheering in Twitch and by using your bits to cheer. Those things are going to be added up, and then the collected money will be distributed. I think we have 10,500 total bits right now, which will be distributed among the 4 players. So please feel free to do that if you wish to show even greater appreciation of these wonderful people's play. With that said, speaking of that play, let's get back into it. So there are now these cultists lying on the ground, and of course, Elu has just run up and is sitting, or basically kneeling, next to the smoldering corpse of her brother. And the 4 of you are now in the square, and pretty much everyone is cleared out for the moment except for Elu and the ones mentioned. So you can feel free to do what you like.
Yes, Johnny is now me, and I am Johnny.
Oh, did we have... Ah, yes, I see. So that happens if we end up switching off cameras. So that's fine. I will quickly adjust. There we go.
I mean, it ain't no shame in it. It's cool being me.
Yeah. No, I mean, for sure. Okay, you're all back to normal. Sorry about that. On you go. So what would the party like to do?
Beauty will see this and will slowly walk towards the stage. Does look over at the beholder and at Nalik briefly, and Beauty also kind of gives a look to Fob, gesturing that she's going to go over and try to comfort Elu. But yeah, Beauty will slowly walk over to the stage.
Okay.
Bob
Go ahead, Fob.
is going to examine the corpses for clues and small pocketable items.
We see 2 vastly different reactions.
Indeed. Okay. So, assuming you're going to pick one of the ones that you bit, you see many bite wounds, Fob. Many bite wounds. No, but besides that, I'm going to have you make, please, an investigation check for me.
Investigation.
Hello, Shadow has arrived.
Oh, Jesus.
You're like, so clearly, now you've seen dead bodies, Fob, and this body is definitely dead. Beyond that, there does not seem to be a lot that you notice about this, although they are all wearing the same red robes and gold masks. So those masks and robes are identical. Other than that, these humans themselves, you look at a couple of the cultists, are not identical, although they are all human from what you can tell.
The masks are made of gold.
The masks are no gold in color, not made of gold.
I was very excited.
Yeah, I know, I can imagine. I would like to see you pocket the gold mask, but
you do see like Bob examines one of the masks and kind of like bites it a little and is like clearly disappointed, and maybe I'll take one of the masks and shove it away in my cloak, because you never know when a good mask is going to come in handy.
Definitely.
Now, while I am concerned about Elu, and I will make time to talk to her, I have the opportunity to speak to this beholder alone, and so I'm going to take it.
Okay.
And there's nobody in earshot as far as I can tell.
That's right, at the moment.
So, beholder, you're far from home, aren't you?
Beatrice, just sort of floating there, notices that you turn and talk to them via a couple of their eye stalks, paying attention to you, and they turn and they say, "Beholder, what is a beholder? My name is Beatrice Enoch Hogarth Edith Leopold Devlin Edward Rochefort III. I don't know what is this beholder thing that you're talking about?"
Oh, so you don't know. Do you remember me?
No, we haven't met before. Who are you? I have just introduced myself. Greetings and salutations.
I am Nalik, and it's very nice to meet you. Lots of people just call me Nulls Darkly. Now,
Which
I
which
was
which do you prefer? Names are important.
Nulls.
Knowles.
Nulls.
It is nice to meet you. Uh, why do you call me Beholder?
Well, I was there when you were born, Beatrice. Now, when I say there, I do mean it was in a dream. As far as I understand, that's kind of how beholders are born.
Uh, this is not something my father told me. I was born in his home to him and my other fathers and mothers. I I I am confused, but no, I don't know. This. Oh, we will talk about this later. Do you know what was going on? Why were these people being attacked?
Yes, we will have that conversation later. So, that brave woman, the one who took down these cultists, you see her on the stage.
Sorry,
My bad.
Hmm.
That's exactly it. Yes, I do. I was paying attention, and then I must have fallen asleep for a second and didn't see everything that was going on.
That
Why?
was her brother, the man who's dead. She wanted us to investigate these pillars, and we deactivated them. They were making this weird vibration, ungodly thing, really. But those people who were on the stage, those cultists, the ones who attacked all these people, they killed her brother.
Do you know who they were?
No, but I'm sure going to find out.
Yeah. Uh, do I don't. And immediately Beatrice kind of moves away and heads towards one of the pillars and begins to examine it.
Okay, which pillar?
I believe this one right here.
Okay. Let's have you go over there. I will come back to that momentarily. Nalls, where are you going to go in the meantime? Are you going to follow or whatever?
I'm going to leave Beatrice to their thoughts because that was a lot.
Yeah.
So I am going to join Beauty because Beauty's been through a lot too, and it gives us a time to chit chat and also to talk with Alu.
Okay, sounds good. And just while this is happening, Fob, are you still checking out the other cultists while this is happening, or?
Oh yes,
Okay.
most thoroughly.
Okay. All right. When you arrive at the stage, there's Beauty. You can take a moment right now. Ilu is sort of head bowed, although she seems to be starting to like kind of pull herself together. And you can there's a terrible smell of just sulfur and other scents I won't get into here that are the result of burning.
I will. Beauty will climb onto the stage, and I'll pull out from my satchel a blanket that I normally use for picnics, but I will kind of next to her. I will cover up her brother mostly.
And she kind of sighs and, thank you. This man that was just executed was my brother Darius. I should have thought this might happen. He was a noble who criticized the Primarch's rule. I didn't think the Primarch would go this far. But obviously, I was wrong. She kind of takes a moment to look over the just devastated square of like bodies and blood and discarded clothing and ripped, like things of all different kinds. You see a couple of flags and some of the colors of Camria just ripped apart and lying on the square. And of course, in front of her, the bloody and burned stage.
Dara surely did not deserve this fate, Alu. I'm sorry.
I am sorry to have brought you into this without knowing it, but I thank you. This fate is going to await all of us. They came after me and you. You saw it. That means you are the Primarch's enemy now. I don't know how or why, but you're going to have to run too.
Well, since the Primarch is our enemy now, can I ask you something?
Yes.
I was under the stage, and I heard chanting. Some deep, powerful magic that shouldn't be. Do you know what the spell was? What they were up to?
And she nods grimly and she says, I am not myself a caster or user of magic, but I've seen it done. It was a gate, a spell which allows the Magus to transfer her consciousness and body, along with those of her companions, anywhere on Camria, perhaps beyond. It is an enormously powerful spell. And if the Magus has gained access to power of this sort. And just as a quick note, Nals, you certainly have not seen this done, but you've read about it. If this is indeed a gate spell, that is an enormously high spell. In mechanical terms for the chat, that's a level 9 spell, which means that we're talking about
God.
very, very, very powerful. And certainly beyond what you thought most people had the ability to cast, and certainly in Camria and beyond.
So, the Primarch sent the Magus here to execute your brother as a show of force?
Exactly. Somehow there have been rumors of something he's been connected with, some cult, but it was not always this way. There was a time when the Primarch brought people together, and the time is... And Cherkai's kind of just flicker over the blanket that's lying over the body of her brother, and that time is not now. And from a distance you hear a... which you know is a guard signal in Camria. And she kind of looks up and she says, we're not safe here. If you would heed my counsel, we should separate, your group and mine. You can meet me. I'll make contact with you. Find a way to go underground here somewhere. They'll be looking at the teleportation panels. You won't be able to get off of Camria now for the moment. But find a way to, I don't know, go to ground. Sewers, houses, and basements, anything. I'll track you down somehow.
Didn't you say you were a part of his royal guard?
Was. And she stands up and she takes off, and she has, I may have mentioned this ceremonial tabard on her back and her on her cloak on her back and also on her front. She takes off her cloak and it's strong stuff. Just rips it in half and throws it onto the blanket, and she says, I am no longer a servant of a sociopathic killer. I will not be party to it. And he will feel the sting of my blade. For my brother, if nothing else. I am no longer a member of his guard. And I cannot speak for anything now that would protect you or me. You hear again.
Okay, we'll find each other. We have a lot of questions. Do you need this? And I hold out the deactivating device that she gave us.
And she nods and she says, I think, as she takes it back, if you had not used these, this situation would have been even worse. It would have made it harder for others to be able to step forward and do what they must. And she fumbles at her belt. A promise is a promise. And she tosses a pouch of gold to the three of you. I believe it was like 50 gold each, I believe is what I said. And she kind of tosses that gold to each of you. And then she looks over and she sees Beatrice floating by a pillar and she says, that one there was also of help, but it is a strange creature. Is that a friend of yours?
You could say that.
Probably.
I've seen them before.
And nods and says, well, I do not have extra reward for them. I did not know there would be 4, but if you let them know, when I see them on the morrow, I will do what I can to reward them as well. But they should know that they are not safe here either. Nor is, and points to Fob there at the, some distance.
We just see a bush.
Nor is the lizard folk. Yeah, it's like towards the bush. No. The lizard folk is also not safe. Any one of you that worked with me apparently is now under threat. For that I am sorry, but I would beg you to help us and to stay clear yourself. I will do what I can to help you for as long as I can. And then you hear again, hoo-wee, now very close. And she says, but now is not the time. Please be on your way. I will contact you as soon as I can.
And I call out, Fob, Beatrice, we gotta get.
I will, as we leave the stage, does it look like Alu is going to take her brother's body with her?
Does not, no.
Okay.
Does not look like that.
I'll leave it as well, but as she moves off and we kind of jump off the stage and regroup, I will grab the 2 torn pieces of her royal guard cloak and stuff them in my bag.
Okay.
And yeah, I'll jump off the stage and say, there's a sewer grate right over here, but I need to make a quick stop. I'll meet you guys over by it. And I run over to the ribbon store.
Okay. So you run into the store where you may or may not be disappointed to discover that the merchant has closed and locked the store. And it is not open at the moment.
I look inside. I press my nose against the glass.
Exactly.
And I see my basket that I already picked out everything I wanted.
Yep. It's right there in the same place.
Do I see the guy anywhere?
You don't.
Oh.
I am making a beeline over to that sewer grate.
Okay.
Beauty! Fob! Beatrice! Come on!
I'm gonna go over by Beauty and be like, is it locked?
Yeah. And I rattle the door.
Do you want it not to be locked?
Yes. Yes.
I'm gonna try to pick the lock.
All right. Go ahead and make. You should be able to use a thieves' tools or a pick locks check, depending on what it shows in the sheet.
I see thieves' tools.
Oh,
I don't see a way to roll.
Yeah, it would just be. Are you proficient in sleight of hand as well?
Yes.
If it does, so you can just click
Yeah.
on sleight of hand, then that would
Yeah,
do
you
it
could
also.
just do sleight of hand.
14.
Yeah, it opens up.
Oh,
And
thank you so much.
Slides open.
I promise I'm not stealing. And I rush in, click, 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 move over, go to the basket, and I'm like, I kind of count all the ribbons that I got. Maybe, I don't know, like a dozen.
You
and
now
I
start to
drop-
hear.
Oh no! I drop 20 gold,
Okay.
and for my dozen or so ribbons, and I stuff those also in my satchel. Run back out and say, "Okay, let's go."
Beatrice, what about you as this is happening? And Fob, I think you're up there by the store, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Beatrice, what about you?
Beatrice is currently circling the pillar, examining it in great detail,
Okay.
and is going to use the Arcana skill to see what they can learn from it.
Okay. Go ahead and make your Arcana check, please.
Let's see how this goes. 15.
So, there is no question that there is a lot of sort of power pulsing out of these pillars, pulsing from the pillars. The sense that you get is that there is a combination of magical effects on this. Perhaps conjuration, divination. There's multiple different forms coming from it. And the pillars, you notice, are beginning to, as you're doing your investigation, are starting to pulse with a greater intensity. And it seems to be happening in time with the call or whistle.
Beatrice continues to circle for a second more, immediately turns and zooms back over to Nulls
Okay.
and says, This is great magic. But the whistling we are hearing, where is that coming from? It appears to be pulsating with the source of the whistle.
Well, that would make sense. It's the Primarch's guards. He's responsible for what happened here today. And that corpse you see on the stage. We got to get out of here.
But oh no, I must speak to this Primarch and talk to him about his guards. And they're
I'm sure you'll have your time, Beatrice. But this ain't it.
We gotta go.
I did not do anything wrong. I just helped people, and now I must go and investigate. And Beatrice begins to turn.
I look at Nulls, and I kind of give you a look like, should we try to grab them?
I'll handle it. I follow after Beatrice.
Beatrice moves over to the other pillar to begin to examine that one.
Beatrice, I know you're curious. I know you didn't do anything wrong. You helped people here today. But this Primarch is a bad, bad person. This Primarch means to hurt you because you helped. We've got to go.
Beatrice slowly turns towards you, and their big eye, seems to grow slightly wider. And the other eyes, they get really focused on you. And then the eyes just all look down for a second. And they say, okay, I will follow for now. But the Primarch has the information that I need. These pillars, it doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't, and I want to know too. But we don't want to end up like that man up there on that stage. Take a good look. Let's go. We gotta go, Beatrice. Come along, friend.
Okay. And Beatrice will slowly follow along behind you.
Now, the grate is not locked, apparently, but is heavy. So someone need to do a strength check, preferably someone without just eye stalks, to lift the sewer grate off.
What, you mean Mage Hand won't work in this case?
I don't think so.
I have no special. I'm just gonna try to lift it up with pure strength, but hopefully with someone else's help. I know. Fob is super strong,
really
right?
strong.
I will lift it.
Yeah.
Okay, make a strength
if
check
I
for me,
give
please.
Fob advantage, or if you want both of us helping each other, or how do you
Yeah,
wanna do it?
if you're going to help, then I would give Fob advantage on this check.
And you want me to roll
There we go.
strength?
Yes, please. Okay. That was a save, I think you did.
Whoops. Well, that makes sense. Let's try this instead.
Okay, go ahead and roll the other one just for the heck of it, since it's at advantage.
Oops.
Okay. Sounds like that 22 works, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Fob just, like no problem, lifts it right off. And down below you hear the telltale trickle of sewer water. And there is a ladder that extends down into the darkness.
Well, ain't the best place to be heading, but not like we have much of a choice.
And Beauty has very quickly kind of like sashayed together trying to cover up as much as of what she's wearing right now with the two parts of the guard cloak, and is looking down like incredibly disgusted, and is like, okay, here we go. And I'll gingerly go down the ladder.
Okay. And then is everyone else following?
Yes.
Are you putting the grate back over you, Fob? I guess this would be you
Yes.
when you go down. Okay. So everyone goes down. Fob, as you slide the grate back in and then descend, I would say the camera zooms out for a moment, and several guards march into the square. And first it's just a couple, and then more and more, and eventually there's probably 20, 25 heavily armed guards. And right next to one of the guards, who are all dressed in typical Cambrian outfits, but one of the ones in the back you see is a person in a red and gold mask. And they kind of walk over to the sewer grate, and they kind of almost like sniff down below, and then turn, and as they pass one of the guards, they say, "The whole area, all of it. Find them. They can't have gone too far." They pass out of the square, and as one of the guards begins to move around the pillars as all the guards explore, we will stop, not the whole session, but at least this session of this part of the session for part 1 of the D&D characters. And I will let these folks know that they're D&D Cambrian based, not Cambrian, but you know what I mean, based characters, have now moved up to level 2.
Nice.
Now,
Very nice.
what we are going to do, because we have about 25 minutes before we come to a close, is we are going to get started with part 2, which is going to set us in space.
Oh,
So-
really quick question.
Sure, please.
Did you automatically add that 50 gold, or do we need to?
I did not, so you would have
Okay.
to add that, to the mix. Yep.
And also, how do we level up on this sheet?
We can. I'll go over it with everyone afterwards.
Okay.
It's pretty fun and easy.
Okay, let me bring the space characters, as it were, up to the top. Now, we have got here, blah, blah, blah. I don't need all of this information because I have that elsewhere. So let me put that down there. Okay, so let me see. So Toya, you are playing, if I'm not mistaken, well, actually, you've introduced this character, so I'm not talking out of school. This is a human adept dream shaper, and I believe it is Dr. Naomi Winterfield. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So, Winterfield, who is and that's going to be played. Okay. And let's see. And I believe that is... Yes, okay. And I believe that is, you've got 10 out of 10 hit points. Is that what I have for Dr. Winterfield?
Yeah, well, where would that go? I'm looking at the Esper sheet.
It's kind of in the middle. There should be a big. It says hit points, and it's kind of like
Okay.
an oval shaped.
Okay, I have nothing there, but it should be 10.
Okay,
Okay.
that's fine.
Okay.
Um,
I'm
cool,
asking
cool.
it should be 10.
It should be, yeah. That I believe that's what I had as my notes. I think that would be what would fit. Okay. Then we have got Johnny. We have for you a Zek engineer, I believe. And what do we have a name for the Zek engineer?
Titus Littlefoot.
Of course. Titus Littlefoot. Awesome. Okay. Titus.
And max of 8 for the starting.
Okay. All right. That's 8 out of 8 hit points. Lovely. Okay. Then we have Zach. I believe we have you with a Dendusi Cybermancer.
Mm-hmm.
Is
Yep.
it Dr. Jiraxis?
Dr. Jiraxis.
Dr. Jiraxis. Okay. All right. And let's see. For some reason, I have that listed as 10 out of 11. I think I took that from your other hit point total. So,
Yeah,
what is your total of your hit points?
9.
9. Okay. Right. And last but certainly not least, we have Kat, who I believe I have you as a Kesh specialist.
Yes.
And is it Ziriel Fel?
Ziriel.
Sorry?
Ziriel.
Ziriel
Fel Zahali.
Zahali. Right. Okay. Okay. Also, I should have asked. Naomi, I have as she, her. Titus is he, him. Dr. Jiraxis, is that he, him, they, them, he, him. What about Ziriel, Cat?
She, her.
She, her. Okay. All right. So that is a cache specialist. And let's see. And then I'm also listing your ShadowNet ID for future purposes. Okay. And what? How about a hit point total for you?
9.
9 out of 9. Toya, later on, we're going to want to double check on that 10 out of 10 because I may have taken that from something else, but not a big deal right now. We'll just take a look at it. Okay, so level 1. Lovely. All right. So let's talk a little bit about what happens. Your crew, as you know, and by the way, the name of this section we're going into is called Warning Signs. You are a team of space explorers, and you have been working together before. In fact, I'm going to be curious as we talk over the next couple of sessions about how your crew has worked together before. That's something I'm going to leave more up to you. But you are a crew of space explorers, and you are sitting as we begin this session in the rather cluttered office of one Tren Peril. Now, this is not the Tren. I immediately saw Zach and Johnny be like, not that Tren, but I had to keep the name because it just fit. Tren Peril. Now, Tren Peril, you know, is an Eldori scientist. This is someone, actually, which both, I would say, Dr. Jiraxis and Dr. Winterfield have probably heard of at different times. A well-known Eldori scientist whose particular specialty is in the field of not just astrophysics, but also audionics. And sound effects and sound broadcasts and messages and the like. And he has called for your crew, which has a small, minor reputation, telling you that he has a very profitable mission for you to engage in. And as we begin, you are sitting in his office, and he is sitting behind his very cluttered desk. His desk has got, unlike what most people of the time should be having, which is, you know, computers, keyboards, holograms, things like that. He has got some of that, but he has also got a number of what look like basically sheets of paper. They're all kind of dusty, and it's a little weird as you're looking at them because they all kind of shift about as anybody moves and seems extremely inefficient. And he is playing for you as we begin a sound. There's basically a series of sounds, and it sounds something like this. Doot, 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 So it sounds like the same dun dun dun, but it's sometimes distorted. And he plays that over and over again for you for a good couple of minutes. And then he leans back and he says, "Well, what do you think of that?" He's sort of looking at all the four of you.
I'm sorry. Can you play it again?
Doot, 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 doot. This goes on for however long you want it to.
And when did you first track the signal?
It was probably about 7 solar days ago, I would say, when I first heard it.
Oh.
It's erratic, barely detectable on long-range sensors. And in fact, most people probably would have ignored it. But not me, because I know what this has got to be, or at least what it ought to be. And he brings up, and behind him, he pulls down literally this thing it looks like it's kind of like on a spring, like a poster or something on a spring that he brings down. And you see another, like what looks like kind of a shiny, you think they might have called it laminated back in the day. And on there is basically a picture of a portion of the Silrain arc of this part of the galaxy. And he's looking at all of it and he says, "There," and he points at a cutaway that's sort of at the top of the right map. That's sort of a magnified cutaway, and underneath it reads Mirius Fen, and he says, "Mirius Fen, what do you think of that?" Now, for those of you who have any kind of general, let's say, science background, so I guess I don't think that this would apply maybe for Zek or Zerial. I think maybe Dr. Winterfield would have heard of this. I'm not sure that Jaraxxus would care. Probably Dr. Winterfield, you would certainly know this, I think, which is that Mirius Fen is basically a system with a dying red star and a couple of clusters that may be remnants of large planetary bodies. There's nothing there, basically. There's no traffic. Nobody goes there. The only reason you know about it is that there were some archaeological finds made there probably 20, 30 years ago, but it's been basically abandoned since then. And it's no one goes there. It's useless. And so he points at it and he says, "Right there is where this signal is coming from. Consistent, regular, erratic because we only pick it up once in a while, but it's coming from there. A data trail in the middle of Mirius Fen."
And how far back? Because certainly the ghosts didn't start sending the signal.
He nods and he says, "Exactly. And that means either someone's gone there themselves or a beacon. Something is activated. And that means, possibly, discoveries of who knows what kind. 2 corporations have picked up on this. One of them came to me, and since I was the one who was able to tell them what it was, they frilling better come to me. As for the other one, a group of unscrupulous types, somewhat, well, it's Eternus. Now, all of you know about Eternus. To jump out of game for a moment, imagine if you combined Amazon, Google, Exxon, and Mobil, and you basically get, and a cigarette company or two, let's throw that in there as well, and you get essentially Eternus. They have their hooks in everything. They are ubiquitous. They are ruthless to competition. They have a very slick marketing team. And they have some difficulties sometimes distinguishing the role of a corporation from the role of a government. In fact, there are places in the Silrain arc where where Eternus actually almost functions a little bit as a government, and essentially acts in any serious way as the governmental structure at that time. There were others that did this as well. Back in the day, you know that there were certain large corporations that perhaps may have had some connection to something called the Shadow Technocracy, but that's probably just a legend. I mean, probably nothing happened with that. But in any case, the Eternus Corporation is bad news, and they have a lot of money. So when he says Eternus, he's like, "Eternus, you know about them. At the very least, when you're working for me, you know that I'm not going to send you down the wrong path. And as for them, in fact, that's part of the problem. The reason I can't just go on this on my own is because I need backup. Because you know Eternus, if they show up, other people in the area tend not to. And it's true that a lot of Eternus Corporation finds have often been contested finds, but mysteriously the other contested groups never should come back after Eternus is there at the same time. It's always, legally on the up and up, and there's never anything found. But it always seems very convenient that Eternus seems to always get there ahead of everyone else, and no one else ever seems to beat out Eternus in situations like this. So I need us to find this before it gets picked over by their goons. And I'm willing to reward you well for doing it.
Well, you should, considering we might get dead.
It'll be fine. Come on, Naomi, you know things better than that. Why, with someone of your stature, they wouldn't dare do anything to you. And he kind of, it's not exactly a wink, but it's almost as close as he ever gets to sarcasm about the others. And he says, why, we're scientists. Our professions alone should protect us. Everyone loves science. And he kind of looks at Jaraxxus and
Hey,
you.
that's my motto. It's trademarked, you know.
He says, I know the two of you, and I've heard good things about these others. And he looks at Titus and at Ziriel. And he says, if you're friends with these two, then you're friends of mine. But I must tell you that it's going to be a dangerous mission. I imagine for someone like the two doctors, their love for science would override any concerns for bodily safety. But for you two, are you sure that you want to be a part of this journey?
Curiosity drives me.
All right.
I've done cleanup jobs on these Eternus situations. I understand. It's hard. It's hard having to clean up after the messes and help the people. But I'm in it. Let's go.
He sighs heavily and he says very quietly, to probably whispers, I would say, to you, Naomi. Are you sure you had to bring a Zek along?
Well, you know what they say about Zek. They're a little sanctimonious, but they get the job done.
I know what Zek say about themselves. That's the problem. And he kind of leans back. All right. Anyway, I'll pay you 500 cubal when the mission's completed. By way of comparison, that's a lot. For you folks, 500 cubal is no joke. So it's sort of like someone being like, and for this mission, $1 million, like just out of nowhere, like, okay. So he just says, we really need to get there ahead of them.
And I could use the funding.
Speaking of funding, where are you getting yours, Tren?
Well, the people that I'm working for have asked me not to reveal them first, except I can tell you they're not Eternus. That's for
I
sure.
see. You're working for Eternus Light.
And he frowns. No. He seems very, unimpressed with the comparison. He says, if you must know, there are several governmental entities that are associated with my side of things.
All right. Look, I want to pin it down on Eternus just as much as you. I did a sponsored talk for them some while ago, and then they pulled out the rug from underneath me. And that rug was supposed to be worth about 5,000 cubal, so I need to find a way to make that back.
Well, if you do this for me, Jaraxxus, then it'll only be the beginning. I think they'll be interested, of course, in the monetary value. There are scientific reasons we need to find this, but if we make some money along the way, so much the better. And these people have money to spare. They can give us plenty of cubal, more than enough to get you set up, and besides, you'll win all the awards you could possibly want from that point forward. If you win the Galaxian Z Magni prizes, well, you'll be one of the greats in the Silrain Arc at that point. You could name your own figure.
I'm assuming since our competitors are also after this, that this is more of a hush project. You know, not something I should be posting on The Sims.
I would recommend not doing that, yes. Especially since right now Eternus probably thinks they're the only ones who have discovered it. Which is
right.
what happens when you have incompetent scientists working for your people. We have the best scientists. And the best crew. And he looks at you, Zuriel, and nods. And then he looks over at Titus. And then he turns away and looks back at the others and is like, the best crew, as I said. And he finally ends with looking at you, Naomi, and says, one last question. This trip we're about to take. I have, I found a way of travel. And he stands up and he walks to one side of his office beyond all of the papers and books and strange artifacts of a bygone age. And he clears away some books and papers and then finds a lever and pulls it. And this mechanical screen, I shouldn't say screen, shutter, like rolls up and rolls up to reveal actual, my God, plastisteel glass. The guy's actually entered the 23rd century. And looking out of the plastisteel glass, you can see there is a ship hanging in space. And he says, that is the Rune Wake. I've managed to secure it from my people. And you are going to be the acting ship's crew. My question, as we go to find the source of this data broadcast, is, have any of you piloted a ship before? So for the answers to that, I need to know whether anyone happens to have any skills or proficiencies in space vehicles, or specifically vehicles : space.
Not
I
a
do not. No.
Please, for all that is holy, tell me that Titus has some kind of vehicle space knowledge.
Of course I do.
Actual vehicle space knowledge.
Of course I do. I can fly anything.
Okay. Is that, but mechanically for a moment, is that true, Johnny, or is that
Yeah,
Titus?
that's mechanically true.
Thank God. All right, that is the best thing ever. Okay, I just wanted to be clear that Titus gets to be the pilot. I'm just sorry. I'm just loving the moment. All right. Now, question: does Naomi Winterfield have any piloting stuff or not?
Funny thing is, I filled out my sheet and all of my skills are gone.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
So we have to
no.
redo the skills.
Yeah,
That's fine.
I
That's
don't-
fine. We'll have
yeah.
time to do that before the next session anyway. So we have that. We also have, so the reason I mentioned this is that each of you are going to take roles on this ship for this journey. So we've got the pilot, which would theoretically be
It's
Titus.
me.
And the co-pilot will be Tren, because Tren has some piloting experience. Then we have need for an engineer, which is specifically in astrophysics, intelligence and astrophysics. Do one of you have anything in that
I believe
score?
I chose that as a skill, right? I believe I
think you
chose that
did.
as one of my skills.
I think you did, which would make you perfectly suited to do this. So you could be the engineer, and then the rest of the crew would just need perception skills, or, hopefully decent perception scores. Is that the case, Zuriel and Jaraxxus?
I'm also pretty steeped in the intelligence side. I have a pretty good wisdom though, so yeah, I can do perceptive stuff. But I also have a super high astrophysics.
Okay. What about you, Kat, with Zuriel?
I have some astrophysics. Actually, I'm proficient in astrophysics.
We're all astrophysicists.
All
Yeah,
astrophysicists.
we're
What
all
about? So then
proficient in it.
you can divide it however you folks like. Whoever has better perception might better be suited for the other crew, but the ones are pilot. We already took care of that. Intelligence, astrophysics for the engineer, and then the rest of the crew would be perception based.
Yeah, I'm fine just being a part of the rest of the crew.
I'm also pretty easy on this, but I'll take intelligence if that's. Actually, intelligence would be a good one for me.
Okay, just thinking about it because I'll let you know. Okay, so that's something to keep in mind. Okay, so with the roles chosen, I'm going to make one note to chat, which is that we're going to find out much more about these four as a crew when we begin our next session. But I do want to note that when you get on to the ship, it only takes you a few hours of travel to get out to the edge of this system, the Marius Fen system, which is not that far from where you are. It's just nobody ever goes there for reasons I already described. And once within range of Tren's signal, Titus, you're able to bring it up alongside, not right into it, but just sort of to see from a distance. And I want you to all remember, for those of you who have seen this film, and if you haven't, you should go see it, the Disney film The Black Hole. Because for all of its faults, and there were many, one of the great things about The Black Hole was the iconic feeling of seeing this ship hanging not that long, not that far away from this enormous anomaly. And like that, once within range of Tren's signal, you see the anomaly's true form here. It is from where the weird signal is coming. It is a writhing cosmic storm, nearly a mile in diameter. There are bright blue and red streams of electricity which band about within the storm, and the anomaly's purple haze masks what lies deeper within. And with a sort of satisfied grunt, Tren sort of leans back and says, "All right, then. All we have to do is navigate into the middle of that. I hope you're all ready." And that's where we will bring our session to a close. And as I say, when we begin next time, we'll start out with the crew being able to chat with each other. There will be plenty of chance for role play. And then the checks begin to get into the midst of this cosmic storm. But this was a lot of fun. We got through the fantasy portion of the first start, and now we're starting space. So I will start with... Oh, I see that the webcams are off because things got changed. All right, hold on a second. Sorry. So let's see. That goes over here, and then that goes over there. Good. Everyone's back to normal. Okay, good. So I will start with the gentleman at the bottom right, Zach. Good stuff today, Zach. I really am enjoying the way that you're putting together the character of Beauty. I liked actually that all four of you at different times in the adventure did not just immediately I wade in, sword swinging or whatever, but everyone was trying to figure out what was going on and then how best to contribute. And many of you waited for attacks to happen before you fought back. And I thought that was really interesting. And there are going to be moments where that will have other value for you as you go forward, just so you know. So I think you were happening to fight very, very intense, dedicated cultists today, but that's not always going to be the case. So I thought it was interesting to see that. And then, of course, you also, I like that little moment where you were looking over and Beauty looks over at Elru, just to see whether Elru, and you just note that Elru's just really focused on the cultists. And there was almost this moment of that sort of sucks. You understand it, but also, and then turn back to it. So those were good little moments of Beauty. And now you got a bunch of story stuff to deal with, thinking about that and with this moment in space. So also, I already can tell I'm going to love the idea of Dr. Jaraxxus is a very different voice type of character. How did you feel about the session today? Where will the fine folks find you next?
I felt good. Lots of different experiences. The combat was cool. I love how we're all playing these characters and we're just trying all sorts of new things, and I have a lot of ribbons, so that makes me happy.
I forgot about that. The fact that Fob is I can get you in there.
That was perfect. That was perfect. Thank you so much, Fob. So a lot of fun for me. The fine folks will find me back on this channel maybe next
Tuesday night. Tuesday night first because of our vocalist, because of Purgatory, but then yes,
and then possibly a week from today. And then other than that, on my own channel where I stream and voice act characters for a little Minecraft Lord of the Rings server, which is this little niche thing that I've done for a while. And other than that, I DM professional games, starting to get that going too. But that's me. Very happy to be here. Excited for this campaign. Love the duality of science and fantasy already starting to blend together.
Good stuff. Yeah, I'm very excited to see how it all works out. It's going to be, and you folks already have solid chemistry with each other. Not surprising since three of you have played together for a long time, but toys fit really well into that, so it's going to be great with that mix. Okay, moving over, I think doing this in reverse order, Kat was next. Kat, Fob with some serious effectiveness with the bite, the the rear attack bite and all that stuff. And I love the idea that Fob just sort of blends in the bush, comes out of the bush, goes back into the bush, and was very much like, let me take the serious moments, because Fob kind of got messed up a little bit prior to this. And then also, of course, the effect that it's going to have on the picking the locks was funny, but thinking about what Fob is going to do going forward, insofar as now Fob has been dragged into a situation that was not intended for them, earlier on. So that was interesting to see. And I'm excited to see, of course, how Zerial gets played out in the space section once we get more with her. How did you feel about today's session? Where will the fine folks find you next?
I thought it was a lot of fun, as always. I am enjoying Fob. I'm looking forward to exploring Fob further. Where will people see me? Well, if you're going to be at Dragon Con, please come see me there. I'll be at the Bard's Tower, and I'll be on some panels. And if you're voting for the Dragon Awards, which you can even if you're not going, remember my book is on there, and feel free to vote for it. There, that's me shamelessly shilling. All right, and that's it.
Definitely worth it. Definitely do vote. Shamelessly shill all you want. But thank you, Kat. Good stuff today. And by the way, last chance to cheer for the players, folks. If you want to do so, you can cheer officially in chat using Twitch. And if you send some bits off their way, then we'll add that to the 10,500 bits that they've gotten. And that will count for basically August, July together. And then September, hopefully, we're going to be on our 2 per month schedule. But thank you, Kat. Always a pleasure. Moving right on up the line. Toya, great stuff, I think, from Knowles on a couple of levels. First of all, sort of going onto the stage and then having to sense some things. There were things it was a fast moving combat, so there's like stuff happening above you and you're trying to, but that was helpful to get that information, to actually hear about the conjuration, because it gave you that inside info about this crazy powerful spell being cast, which is frankly more powerful than you would have expected even a Grand Magus to have. So that's like, that's good information to have possessed. And also now having some interest in Beatrice, which allowed you to sort of connect with Beatrice. Knowles is becoming kind of like the de facto ambassador for the party or something, or just the super vibe person who's interested in everybody for different reasons. And of course, the fact that you had some prior history, which I love the fact that we immediately generate this, as I said, existential beholder crisis immediately with Beatrice. How did you feel? And then I'm looking forward to seeing how Naomi Winterfield gets played out as well. How did you feel about today's session? Where will the fine folks find you next?
Yeah, I took the opportunity to go under the stage just to, protect myself from the craziness, but it, worked out. I'm really interested to see how the relationship with Beatrice grows. The rest of the party doesn't really know Beatrice at all.
Right.
I mean, Beatrice and Knowles don't really know each other, but Knowles knows Beatrice in some way. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens when Fob and Beauty get to meet Beatrice. So that'll be interesting. I'm looking forward to making Naomi very different than Knowles.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see how that develops. And where can people find me? Well, I am not active on Twitch, so the next time you'll see me is here. But I'm on interwebs. I'm on the social medias, as the kids say. Toya K. Fenley on Twitter. Schnoodlemedia.com is my freelance hustling website.
It's good stuff. And you should absolutely check out that Hustle and Buy Toya's books and so on, because Toya's super smart and has a lot of good things to say about game narrative and design and all that kind of good stuff. So thank you, Toya. And, good luck, but not too much to the Titans, just saying. Moving right on, last but certainly not least, Johnny, it was good to see you back in the saddle for this. I already am going to be a big fan of Beatrice. I love the idea that the drawing is something I did not expect. I will fully admit I was not expecting that. But I love the idea that Beatrice is a character that is kind of like, but wait, like they must be spoken to, almost like I need to speak to your manager type of thing. While everyone else is like, yeah, this one is not, you're not, they don't. So that was great. And of course, Beatrice didn't stick with it, but there was very much, and again, not attacking immediately, but like waiting to see if attacks would happen first. So we're kind of establishing several things there and figuring out limitations. We'll continue to work that through, but just the manifest weirdness of having a beholder, which most people in a lot of D&D universes are like, oh crap, but most people in Camria are going to think of as sort of this strange oddity, but don't know the details. And of course, certainly Beatrice doesn't know that about herself. That's fascinating, and I think more is going to happen there. As for Titus, I mean, if anyone's played Jedi Fallen Order and you know the pilot of the ship, that's immediately what I was thinking about with Titus, except that Titus is probably considerably more obnoxious about things. And/or the guy from Farscape, the Emperor, whose name I can't remember. But anyway, that dude. So I remembered both those things, and it's going to be fun to see how Titus manages things very differently, I think, from Beatrice. How did you feel about the session today? Where will the fine folks find you next time?
Today's session was great. Toya, thank you for immediate rapport between the characters and trying to establish that. That was fantastic. Like that, just diving right in for whatever reason, that was driven, the character was driven. That was just perfect. So thank you so much for that.
You're welcome. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it really was. Beatrice is, when we were talking about this, is all about subverting it a little bit and having fun with the sort of experience. So everything about that has been quite entertaining in conceptualizing, and then the conversations that are going on about that, and as we figure it out. Now, the paper puppet thing idea actually came up privately between the other co-conspirator who is not here, Zach. We were talking about it, and then my partner and I, Chris Ann, we sort of theorized and threw together some things, and we decided that we would start with a paper puppet in this particular way, and we'd see how it evolves. I would say you should expect Beatrice to evolve as we go, through this particular thing. And the Titus at the last minute kind of just came together as I just kind of drew it and put it together. But I like the idea of playing the puppets until we get to the place where we have the junction point, and then decide and see what actually happens with which character. And so,
and then at that point, it's full out cosplay, right? Like you dressed up as a beholder every time, and/or a Zek. I just want to be clear about
anything is possible. Anything is absolutely possible. We're going to explore the boundaries of this as practically as possible. I mean, I even saw somebody talk about a VTuber avatar might be one way to go with this. So we will see what we're going to do about it. But ultimately, it's going to be fun regardless. And the fine folks will see me here next week for the next episode. So, and that is it.
Good times. That's right. We do. That's right. We have this scheduled for. I forgot. Actually, wait. Is it next week?
I thought it was next week. We had as our second session.
It's probably right, and I may just be missing it and foolishly.
I can't make next week.
That's right. I thought there was something that was tickling my mind. All right. Well, we'll talk about it. If not, then it just means it would just be the one session, and in that event, then we'll make sure that we get 2 in for September. So we'll be all good. It's all. August has been a strange month for everybody, including me. So that we're getting it there. We're going to move it there, and certainly by the next time we'll have the full music, the new music for the full video as well. Wonderful work today, folks. I really enjoyed this a lot. I'm super excited for this campaign in both space and on the surface of the planet. So it's going to be a lot of fun. If you folks liked this, please let the folks know. I will distribute, bit costs, as I said, and so forth at the end of the month. But thank you so much to our wonderful players. Chat, can we get some love for the amazing Johnny Pittman, Toya Kristen Finley, Cat Rambo, and Zach Clay. Players, thank you very much. And I will see all of you lovely folks soon. Bye for now.
Bye.
Oh my goodness me. That was great though. It's not that I love weirdness for the sake of it, but it is a little bit like that, honestly, because it's not just weirdness. It's the fact that I like things that have their own internal logic, I guess. And I feel like there is a kind of internal logic to this. in terms of the way both worlds work and the way they're going to come together. And this, this thing about warning signs, like the next session is going to be pretty much exclusively in space. So it's all about tracking down this data anomaly and figuring that stuff out. But that is going to tie together, as I mentioned, it's going to be alternating. So then we go back to chapter 1, we're doing more fantasy characters again, and we find out about the whole meeting up with the Lou. Chapter 2 is going to be back to figuring out the implications of whatever happens in the rest of this adventure here. And then eventually they will make a decision where they're going to go one direction or the other, and we'll end up picking one of those characters, and there'll be a mix of both. So it's going to be super cool. I'm excited for it, and great job out of Alligator Alley. So 1,000. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Shadowed. Happy birthday, and thank you for the bits. So 1,500, so 11,500. Thank you, everybody. That's a very good, credible opening to this idea of bits for the players. Thank you, Shadowed. I appreciate it. And I hope you folks enjoyed this as much as I did. Happy birthday, Shadowed. Yeah. So that is going to do it for me for this evening. Although there was a part of me that was tempted. I'm like, I could get in a little more triangle strategy, but realistically, I should actually get a little bit of food and actually catch up on a bit of work so that I can be ready for next week, because next week is going to be a big one, folks. So as a reminder, we got a couple things going on. First of all, we have got on Monday, let me pop that into that right now. The night is you. It's true, Dragon. It's true. Hydrate and eat a food. Yes, I will definitely do that. And it's good to see you, by the way, Prince Justin. And of course, I saw Triffid. Good to see you, Triffid. And I saw Rock God come in. Good to see you, Rock God. So always good stuff from everybody. So first of all, we have Bag of Giving on Monday the 22nd. This is going to be Iron Sworn Starforged with one of Prince Justin's GMs, Christiana Ellis, is going to be as the GM. This is all to benefit the National Network for Abortion Funds. That's Bag of Giving Iron Sworn Starforged. Now, I know a little bit about Iron Sworn, but I've never seen Starforged, so that's going to be really interesting. That's going to be happening 7 p.m. on Monday the 22nd. Now, I do not know yet. We had scheduled on 2 p.m. on the 22nd a GM turn for Court of Blades Valorword. And it's actually going to feature the game designers, a couple of Drakes, who are the ones who made that game. I don't know whether we're doing that because we were not able to do our Court of Blades session this past Friday because I had all this stuff going on with the kids. So I don't know if we're going to be able to do that or if we have to wait until we have a turn before the GM turn. So I'll find out from Mike what the deal is and we'll talk about that. But in the meantime, Tuesday, we will have a big day as well. Adventures in Middle-earth, continuing that campaign. We have not been able to do that for a few weeks, so I'm really happy to get back to that. Then we've got some Pen and Pixels. We've got D&D with GOG Ghosts of Saltmarsh, returning to that campaign, which will be awesome, over on GOG. And then at 9 p.m. Eastern, we'll have the final session for the Arvocalis with Purgatory. We've spent 2 sessions on it. We've got one more session to do with my daughter, Little Arv, her final session before she's back to school, and thus will not be doing late-night voiceover performances. Then we'll be off Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday the 26th is up in the air, probably going to be some combination of like board game or something or other, which will be with certainly myself and Jordan Indy Gonzalez, who's going to be here, but possibly also with Zach. That's going to depend on when Zach's getting out here and confirming all those things, but at least one, maybe 2 of us. And then Saturday, we have a special event, which is going to be the broadcast of this musical event that's happening on Saturday the 27th. So I'm very excited about that. And then the last thing is going to be for Tuesday the 30th, we will have the Patreon-fueled Chat Chosen Game of the Month. Now, I should mention that, by the way. Okay, I'll double check on that to see. Thank you. I need to find out and ask him so. Which is to take a look at the Chat Chosen Game of the Month. There are 3 possibilities. We have got Whispers of a Machine, Typo Man, and Citizen Sleeper. Those are the choices that we've got. Right now, Citizen Sleeper is leading 3-2 over Typo Man to 1. Whispers of a Machine. I am happy with either one, so whatever people want to do to vote, either way is up to you, but now's the time to get in your vote, so make sure you do that. In honor of Shadowed Mage, not Arv. Well, I'll take it either way, and the players appreciate it. Thank you, Dragon. So that's 2,500 bits. Thank you. So that means 12,500. Thanks, Dragon. So, so 3-2. So go ahead and get your votes in, and that's going to be played, as I say, a week from this coming Tuesday. And then I'll be doing some Solasta with the Lost Valley DLC. and that will be my last pre-semester stream. That'll be the last stream, not really of the summer, because I really think Labor Day weekend is the last official weekend of the summer as I see it. Then we have more triangle strategy on Friday as we're moving, Friday the 2nd, as we're moving towards the end of that game. And I should mention as a reminder to everybody that once we finish that game, then the next one up after that is going to be, let me just double check on my game list again. That is going to be Lost in Random is the next one we're going to do. Then I had put Road to the Show. I'm not sure if I'm going to do that. I may not do that. It may be I'm going to do Lost in Random and then may end up doing Frostpunk and play that for a bit. Then I wanted to play ActRaiser and then Ghost, which is not a long game. That should be a couple of sessions, I would think. Then Ghost of Tsushima. Is going to be the next focus. I know Dragon is excited for that one. Once Ghost of Tsushima is done, the next one, which I know the Dunsels will be excited about, is Sorcery 4, the Inkle concluding game in their brilliant quadrology of games is Sorcery 4. So that'll be doing that. That will be very exciting. And then after that, it's a little up in the air. I'm thinking about doing the Outer Worlds. I want to do Axiom Verge 2. I want to do Final Fantasy Tactics, which is one of my favorite games of all time, and I've never played on stream. God of War 2018, I might want to do Fable, and then all of it sort of gets kind of very up in the air after that. But the ones that are definite are after Triangle Strategy, Lost in Random. After that, I don't know if I'm going to do Road to the Show. I don't know if I want to do a baseball thing. It kind of depends. More likely, I'm going to do Frostpunk, and I'll do that until I get sick of it. And then we'll move on to ActRaiser and then Ghost of Tsushima. And Bad Rats is going to happen, Xanos, when I get partnered. So if you want to see that happen, you know what to do. Push the powers that be at Twitch, and then we will get the magic, the glory of Bad Rats being played. So that's how this works. Anyway, it has been a great pleasure being with all of you lovely folks today, and I hope you folks enjoyed this as much as I did. I want to thank Alligator Alley for as well for sponsoring us in this campaign, and maybe they can sponsor all of the cosplay that Johnny's going to be doing for his Beholder and everything else. It's going to be a good time. But that is going to do it for me for today. Let me take a look and see who we've got here. Okay. Interesting. Oh, I have not done. How many bits would it take to never play Bad Rats? You'll have to battle that out with Xanos. Commander Dunsel found a game that I would really like. Oh, really? You should nominate it. Make sure to have him nominated for next month, Mrs. Dunsel. I'm always a fan of choices that are suggested. So... Unavowed. That sounds really familiar to me. Is Unavowed by Wadjet Games? Yeah, it is. Wadjet Eye Games. I thought so. Yeah. That's right. Wadjet Eye Games. Yep. Salvation finally comes in the form of the Unavowed, an ancient society dedicated to stopping evil. Yep, I remember this. I remember seeing about this. And I even remember when they were looking for voice actors for this, because it was back in like 2016 or something like that. Yeah, I heard good things about that. Yeah, I mean, like I say, that's a good nominating choice. That would be something that would be a good nominating choice for next time for sure. I would be excited to give it a shot. But that's going to do it for me for today, folks. And for us, I would like to ask you, please, to stick around and to do the raid with us. And it's very simple. If you are not a sub, do this. The Arvanauts have landed, followed by Twitch raid, lowercase Twitch, uppercase R, lowercase AID. Is it shadowed? Yeah, I heard good things about it. And then the Arvanauts have landed. We got Arvany Hype, Arvany Roar, Arvany Witch, Arvany Woe, Arvany Smug, Arvany Blown, Arvany Love, all the Arvanys. When you are brought over automagically to the channel that we are going to be raiding as soon as this raid is done. If you like what you saw and heard, please follow the channel. Please check out our YouTube and please sub to me over there as well. That's free, but it definitely helps us out. That's !ArvTube. !ArvCord is our Discord channel. You can hang out with us in between streams. And !ArvTweets is our Twitter, which is always super helpful if you want to be able to follow me and get information about stuff going on with my life stream-wise and otherwise. And the website is arvanelleron.com. Financially, I've been talking about the cheer to help the players. Thank you for those of you who were able to do all of that. As I say, we're looking at 12 500 bits, which will be distributed. Among the Peaks players. So thank you for that. And then we've got, so we got that going on. Then we've got, of course, and by the way, just so you know, after this, the only time cheer only counts, bits only count for players during that session. So that means that any cheering you do after this is just going to me directly. Or once I roll it out, I have not done so yet, but I'm going to. This has been pretty successful, so I'm going to start rolling this out for my other campaigns. And that means that whenever you cheer, that will go towards the fund for that set of players. So if you cheer during Eberron, that's going to go to those players. If you cheer during Adventures in Middle Earth, that will go to those players. If you were to cheer, theoretically, I don't know about how to do that with the GOG folks because that's on another channel. So I'm not sure if that would work the same way. I have to think a little bit about that. But that's just something to think about. So like this, yeah, so now we're up to 13,000. I see that I made a mistake in changing this around. So now we're up to 13,000 bits. So thank you, Dragon, for doing that. That's awesome. So that is going to go to the players. And I'm very happy about that because it really, that's an extra little thing that I want to be able to do for more of the campaigns, and so that'll be good. So, but yes, and of course we had a bunch of gift subs today from Xanos and from others, so thank you for all those gift subs. Those of you who haven't already done so, you can subscribe and get those custom sub badges and emotes. Arudinel, I know, resubbed at tier 2. Thank you for doing that. A lot of you either subbed or resubbed, or gave gift subs, so thank you to everyone who did that. An anonymous user did that as well, so thanks everybody. I really appreciate that. And of course, if you haven't already done so, support the Patreon, !ArvTreon. That's sitting at 21 patrons, $192 per month. Would love to see that number get higher again. It's been sitting at 200 for a long time. Would love to see that go higher, not lower. So we'll see, because you can get cool stuff that's not available with subbing if you are able to do that. So that's appreciated. And let me see. Patreon. Oh yes. Icarus, ! Icarus for my Icarus graphic novel from Athos Arts. ! Library is my Tales and Tomes from the Forbidden Library, my 5e adventure and sourcebook from Alligator Alley Entertainment, and of course Grayshade, my newest novel, which came out in May, which also has a Kickstarter, a successful Kickstarter associated with it. You can go to BackerKit right now, and if you missed the Kickstarter, you can pre-order basically my Renegade and Heretic sequels to Grayshade, and of course the Grayshade TTRPG, which is going to be coming out, which is myself and Brandon O'Brien are working on that. Brandon O'Brien is the lead designer there, and me, and then we have, of course, as well, Rich Lescouflair doing 5e consultation and stuff like that. And let's see, of course, the audiobook from Tren as well. So you can get all that stuff over on the Backer Kit. So you didn't miss out. If you missed the Kickstarter, it's okay. You still have time to be able to support. And the Backer Kit is a whole extra life, actually, for the Kickstarter, which continues to help support us. So please consider going over there if you like. And if you've read Grayshade, I know some of you have. I will say, by the way, if you've read Grayshade and you liked it, obviously no obligation, but if you liked it, please do leave a positive review on Amazon and or Goodreads. Those things definitely help. So if you happen to notice it and you did like the book, please do leave a positive review. Again, no obligation to do that, but if you did and you're like, this was really fun, please let people know that it was really fun in whatever way you can, because that definitely helps when you do that as well. You doubled up everything you got with a pledge? Oh, well, let them know that, Hillness, though. Let them know that. You shouldn't be charged twice. Like, that's no big deal. Just drop a line to... certainly to either Emily or to Ballstag or any of those people. And if you can't get a hold of them, just contact me and I'll let them know. I don't want to double you up. Yeah. Oh, you realized it. Okay, good. I was going to say, like, because I don't want to, poor guy. That would have been a little weird. I've been like, what is this? Yeah, but thanks again for the support, Hillness. I really do appreciate that. Let me see. Last, of course, ! BLM, Black Lives Matter. Very important to affirm and assert the significance and importance of Black lives. ! Help Now, World Health Organization page on suicide prevention. Very important to reach out to others when you need help and to reach out to others when they need help as well. And ! Ukraine, to help the people of Ukraine, UKRAINE, as they continue their fight back against an illegal and illegitimate war. This is a chance for us to help them stop, to fight back against that aggression by supporting them in the ways that we can in this devastating war that they are fighting. But that's going to be it for me. Thanks, everybody. I will see you folks again on Monday for some Bag of Giving and maybe some Valor Word, depending on whether or not that's cool with Mike. And then, of course, I'll see you back myself as well on Tuesday for some Adventures of Middle-earth, etc. But that's all for now. Much love to all of you. Thank you for the support, and I will see you folks soon. Stick around for the raid, and then once the video is done, we will do that. Thank you to my wonderful mods, Arudnell, Dragonspear, Hillness, Rock God, Shadow Mage, Triffity Mats, of course, Xanos. Good to see you all. Thank you as well to my Patreon supporters and subscribers, Arudnell, Dragonspear, Hillness, Rock God, Shadow Mage, Triffity Mats, Xanos. Thank you as well to my Patreon supporters and subs of Echo Alpha X5, Crit Twitch. Good to see you, Crit Twitch, of course. Mrs. Dunsel, always good to see Optic Nerve. Prince Justin, of course, Video Store Cowboy. And thanks to my wonderful viewers and Anonymous Gifter, Cat Rambo, Darksteel Spork, Aranth, Nonstop Shatter Mage, and Sunamano. Most of all, thank you all to my players. Thank you to Johnny, thank you to Kat, thank you to Zach, and thank you to Toya for a wonderful session tonight. That's it. Much love to all of you wonderful folks. And as I always say, everyone be good to each other. Stick around for the raid. I'll see you soon. Bye for now.